The following is a Bearded Broadcaster Productions podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back for this week's edition of Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. And college football week 1 is in the books, and we had great weekends. Waffle, how was it just getting to be back on your couch and watch college football this weekend?
It was an out-of-body experience. It was so relaxing. It was so nice to wake up on a Saturday, wake up at 9 o'clock, see game day with all the boys, Herb Street, Reese Davis, everybody. Such a great time. Had a great day. A good slew of games capped off by some great games in the nightcap. And then it rolled on into Sunday night's game, which was fantastic. And even last night's game was really good to watch. So just a great weekend.
Absolutely. We'll recap some of those games this weekend. Of course, the game we'll talk about later. I went down to Atlanta for Northern Illinois and Georgia Tech, and the Huskies were 19-point underdogs according to Vegas, and we're playing Georgia Tech, and they ended up getting an early 14-0 lead before Georgia Tech stormed back to get a 21-14 lead, and the Huskies came back and won it 22-21, went for 2 in the win. They got it. I got a couple articles up at my website that talk about the team. Also on this YouTube channel, you can watch the Sights and Sounds video on our trip to Atlanta. So a lot of fun. It was really cool. Pretty fun atmosphere in Atlanta. It wasn't sold out, but the students showed up and were loud, and it was just fun to have fans back. And it was just really cool to see that the entire weekend. And hopefully you enjoyed any games that you watched this weekend. And we'll go to recap, of course, our favorite teams first, and we'll talk about South Carolina and Zebulon Nolan. My first of all, that's one of the greatest names of all time. I don't know why he shortens it. But it comes off the grad assistant, has a heck of a game against Eastern Illinois. Jalen Foster, the former Gardner-Webb running Bulldog, has a pick. And South Carolina's defense looked great for all facets of the game. A little bit something different here, Waffle, because usually, even in those FCS games, South Carolina would struggle to put up some points sometimes.
Yeah.
Teams like Wofford. Now, again, Eastern Illinois, all due respect, is not a great FCS team, but still early on in the season, you never know what you're going to expect, especially when you see an Eastern Illinois team that has played a week before, a little more experienced, and you have a new coach, new offense, and you have a grad assistant out there at quarterback. But South Carolina looked good and rolled to a 46-0 win. What's some of your takeaways from that game?
Yeah, man. I was blown away. I really was happy with everything, which was such a nice feeling. Because like you said, coming into it, you never know. And South Carolina back in the day, even when we're rattling off the 3 straight 11-win seasons, we still had our struggles with Wofford. When I remember one year we were up by a touchdown going to the fourth quarter against Wofford, and South Carolina's just never. It's not in Carolina's DNA to blow anybody out, which is why when Connor Shaw was there, we beat Troy one time 63-24, and that just blew my mind. And one year we beat Kentucky 55-3. That's really rare. That's not happened for South Carolina. No matter who the coach is, even when you got Spurrier back there, we just don't really blow people out. But this was nice. And like you said, the defense really impressed me, because that was something that I was worried about. And I think I said it on here as well, but I thought our defensive line was going to be okay. I thought that was going to be our strong suit of the defense, and they were very good. But I was really impressed with our defensive backs as well. Even without, we were missing a starter who was suspended for the game, RJ Roderick, who has frustrated the mess out of me in the past because I don't like him and I don't think he's that good. But he was suspended. So without him, it's a brand new crew of safeties and corners that haven't started before, one of which being Cam Smith, who I believe is now a junior, maybe a sophomore, depending on, all these COVID years and blah, blah, blah. But he was great. I thought the tackles that he made great tackles. South Carolina's no stranger to not being able to wrap up, which a lot of teams are like that. But I watch Carolina all the time, so I feel like they never can wrap up. And he was great. As soon as his pursuit was awesome. And then when he got there, he made a couple hits. They weren't devastating hits, but it's just good tackles. And that was great to see. And then your boy from Gardner-Webb, Jalen Foster, really impressed me having the interception. Almost had another one if it wouldn't have got. He did have another one if it wouldn't have got called back for a penalty. But Defense as a whole, man, was just awesome. Zach Pickens, star guy out of T. Hanna High School, who we're familiar with around here in South Carolina. And I knew how dominant he was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And he's now a junior with Carolina. In the last couple of years, he played sparingly, but this year, like he had a good game. I think he totaled he did have a half sack along with Aaron Sterling. So defensive line was great.
Pickens is a guy that I thought Muschamp had wasted the past couple of years because my God, we saw him play against Emerald High School and he was so good, just blowing up the offense. And, to see him succeed now and get the starting role is a good thing. And that's coming from a Clemson fan. Like, I'm glad to see him playing right now.
Yeah, for sure. But we can't go without mentioning the offense. I mean, they put up 46 points. Zeb Nolan, you can't ask for any better. A guy who's literally on your coaching staff as a grad assistant, having to step in and start a football game. I can't tell you when else that's happened. I really don't know. Like only South Carolina would have this happen to them, but he stepped in and he killed it. I mean, he was 13 of 22, 121 yards. He had 4 touchdowns. Carolina started with pretty good field position every time because they blocked 2 punts. So Beamer ball, Shane Beamer, Frank Beamer, we all know Frank Beamer. Beamer ball was special teams, and South Carolina special teams were good on especially punt blocks, block 2 of them. So can't be disappointed there. We also saw action from Jason Brown, who I thought the whole time was going to be the starter if it wasn't Luke Doty. But Brown got in. He threw 5 passes at 45 yards. He was okay. And we also saw Colton. I really don't know his last name, and I'm ashamed to say that. It's Gauthier or Gaultier. I can't remember. I'm sorry. He's a freshman. But he got in, threw a pass, completed it for 19 yards. So
I think it's Gauthier. That's what it looks like.
I want to say that's what it is. But
yeah,
my biggest impression, the guy who made the biggest impression on me was Zaquandre White, running back.
Yeah.
So we all know Kevin Harris.
Yeah.
Regardless if you're a Carolina fan or not. Kevin Harris was out due to, they say it was an illness, but he also did have off-season surgery, so he might not have been 100%.
Yeah.
Either way, he didn't play. So we saw a lot of Zaquandre White, and we saw Marshawn Lloyd, who was a big recruit last year, who unfortunately tore his ACL last year, so he didn't get to play. But saw a lot of them, and also another one, Juju McDowell. And these 3 running backs, Zaquandre White, they were really even. 12 carries for White, 128 yards, a touchdown, had a 63-yard touchdown, burst through the hole, got good speed. I was really impressed with him. He's a hard runner. Good grief. Somebody said in the offseason that South Carolina had the best running back room in the SEC. And when you hear that, like, you just don't, like, I don't think anything of it. I mean, it's South Carolina, whatever. But they really do have a strong case after watching these guys play against. And it was Eastern Illinois, but after watching these guys play, like, they do have a solid running back room as a whole, and I think that could be very good for them. Marshawn Lloyd, 14 carries for 55 yards, and McDowell had 12 carries for 46 yards. But I was really impressed with them. Receivers didn't do a whole lot. We honestly didn't throw the ball a whole lot, which I kind of like. We actually came out in a double tight end set a couple times. We came out in an I formation. We had a fullback dive that went all the way to the house.
This is all for Ralph Harris.
All for Ralph Harris. All for my grandfather. And all for him, man. And they had a fullback dive, got called back because of a penalty, which is stupid. It's ridiculous.
No.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah. It was a great time. I had a great time watching the game. South Carolina got a nice little blowout win. A great way to start off the Beamer era. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited, really excited for next week.
Stat that hangs out to me is EIU did not convert a single 3rd down. They were 1 for 1 on 4th down, but they were 0 for 9 on 3rd down. That 4th down, I believe, was late in the game. 23 first downs to 9 between South Carolina and EIU. 443 yards for South Carolina, 109 by EIU. I mean, that's his dominance. And you got to have that to get to this next level because, South Carolina's going to get compared to Clemson because they're in the same state.
Yeah.
And, we haven't seen this from South Carolina in a while, and we see it from Clemson all the time when they play these type of games. And you saw that. Zeb Nolan, not a whole lot of yards, but 4 touchdowns. That's good enough.
Yeah. I mean, good
grief. Out there. But, yeah, Zaquandre White was the leading receiver, too, 39 yards and a touchdown as well. 128 yards rushing into a 63-yard rush for a touchdown late in the game. So, hey, that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah.
In a week 1 game with a new coach, you got to see a little bit of everybody. The carry on Jordan didn't have a whole lot, but I mean, you didn't really need to see a whole lot from him because of how everybody else in the offense working well.
He had a couple drops that really, I really don't know how I feel about it, man. I would rather see him try to keep playing quarterback because I don't know. And I don't want to come out here and just blatantly say he's not a good wide receiver, but I mean, he's a quarterback. He's a heck of an athlete, obviously, but I don't know. He's not a receiver. He had a couple drops. Hopefully he can bounce back and end up being good because our receivers, like I don't really have a lot of faith in them after watching the game Saturday night. But
I mean, I've said in the past, South Carolina gets a running game going. They're a very good team, and when you have White 128 yards, Lloyd 55 yards, McDowell 46 yards, that's a three-headed monster right there.
Yeah,
that's going to be stopped. And you have Kevin Harris, who's hopefully coming back soon.
Yeah, I mean he should be playing next week.
That's four solid players. I just saw that Zaquandre White a hurdle. I think it was a hurdle. That was an interesting play. Okay.
Yeah, that happened like 3 times, like 3 plays for South Carolina where somebody from Carolina tried to hurdle somebody, and I'm just like, what?
He looked like he tried to on the high jump, how they jump like that. He tried that, but standing forward.
Yeah.
And he just went straight up in the air. So
I told my roommate Malik, I told him the other night, I was like, I think Beamer came in here and he was like, look, guys, you just got to make a name for yourself. You just got to try to put somebody on a highlight tape. And now we're trying to jump over people and it's not working.
Listen, we got to stop playing the Jadeveon Clowney tape and get something new.
Yeah.
So, South Carolina looks good. We'll talk about how they get ready for ECU this week. We'll move on to Clemson, and this game was ugly.
Yes, it was.
Up in Charlotte, 10-3 win for Georgia over Clemson. The only touchdown, a 74-yard pick six by Christopher Smith. That changed the tide of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson had 2 yards rushing.
Yeah.
That's what you love. You'd love to see that. 7 sacks by the Georgia defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not good. That's all I can tell you. I didn't get to watch a whole lot of this game because of the game I was working, and but I was getting updates from my parents, from Waffle and on Twitter, and not great for a great start to the DJU era, but 19-37, 178 yards and a pick.
Yeah.
Joseph Ngata, 6 catches for 110 yards. So you had one receiver that got open and did well. On the other side, JT Daniels still not great. 22-30, 135 yards and a pick. Zamir White did have 13 carries for 74 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, rushing wise, your leading rusher was Lynn J. Dixon, who had 1 carry, which that's weird.
He did not play until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I heard it was team rules. I heard he did something with team rules is why he didn't play. But
that makes me feel a little better, I guess. But hopefully, he gets back in. But yeah, you heard all about these receivers for Clemson, and they just couldn't get open.
Yeah,
and the offensive line looked horrible for Clemson. The defense did what they could, and when you think about it, the only score was a defensive touchdown.
Right.
James Skalski had 14 tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Goodrich had 12 tackles. Andrew Booth was locked down corner still. Brian Brissy, he got banged up a bit, but he played great.
Yeah.
Balin Spector played great. He had a pick. Landon Zanders, unfortunately, got hurt, and he's out for the season. That's a big one.
Ooh, I did not know that. I saw him get hurt.
They announced that today. He is out for the season. I think a torn ACL. Man. That's awful. Kid from Crest High School up the road in Shelby.
Yeah.
So that stinks. But, everybody's going to say doom and gloom on Clemson. I get it. You got to have the Riders stuff. It's week 1. The defense played great, which was expected. It's just offensive line was very surprising. And plus, this is probably the best defense the Clemson's going to see until probably the playoff, or probably South Carolina. I'll give South Carolina's defensive line credit. Their safeties past few years have been kind of at times against Clemson's receivers, but defensive line wise, this is the best D line they're going to see until they play South Carolina, maybe Boston College. Boston College usually has a pretty good D line. Florida State's D line looked good on Sunday too. We'll talk more about them.
Yeah,
but I mean, it sucks. It's not fun. Clemson now has lost 4 of the last 5 like big games they've been in. If you go back to the national championship against LSU, they lost to Notre Dame in the regular season last year, beat Notre Dame ACC championship, then lost to Ohio State, and then now they've lost to Georgia. So it's kind of been like the Clemsoning things come back in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you just got to improve. And a lot of people were talking about how showing on film and showing how, like, hey, you won't see this in the ACC, probably. You're not going to see this from UConn or South Carolina State. You might see it from South Carolina. And so that's the only thing. Like, am I a little more worried going on in the season? A little bit, yeah. Am I intrigued why Lynn J. Dixon didn't play? Of course. Why they run the ball more with the running backs? Because they've been talking about Will Shipley so much.
Yes.
And
I heard a ton about him.
He got 4 carries.
Yeah.
Like, you got to give him the ball if you're going to talk about him, because he's the reason another running back who had a great Saturday, Ches Malusi, is no longer on your team.
Right.
So it was frustrating to go back and watch. I went back and watched some of the highlights of it on YouTube TV, and it's just a frustrating game. But those will happen.
Yeah.
Listen, I remember when Clemson would go off and get lost to Georgia 30-0. I remember that game. So the fact that their defense kept them in it is a great sign. I think, defense wins championships and offense sells tickets. So it may not be as flashy this year in Clemson, but I think they're going to win some games because of their defense. They will play some good quarterbacks in the ACC, of course, but I think defensively they're going to be set. And I don't think it's time for the sky to start falling. The sky's not falling in Clemson right now.
No, absolutely not. Here's my 2 cents on it from somebody who's not a Clemson fan. If I'm gonna put it bluntly, both teams look like trash.
Exactly.
On offense. On
offense. Defensively, both teams played amazing. These are 2 best defenses in the nation after this.
Georgia's defensive line is unreal, and Clemson's offensive line had a very bad night. Clemson's offensive line is not going to look like that for the rest of the season. Georgia's defensive line is very good. Now, what was Clemson's offensive line bad? Yeah, of course. It looked like Swiss cheese. Like, just to put it bluntly, it's just how it is. They give up 7 sacks. It felt like 14 sacks. It felt like DJ was just always under pressure, whether it be because there's missed blocks and there's people coming free, or whether it be DJ's own fault. Now let's not.
Yeah, there were a couple of times it was DJ's fault too, and that's just young quarterback,
Yeah,
and I get it. Yeah. Yes, but again, I'll say this about DJ: he's the guy that threw for the most yards ever at Notre Dame.
Right.
He knows what he's going to do. Everybody has a bad night. It's a shame.
It's a shame to see people just, and it happens everywhere. It's not just here. Something like this happens. Like, people are going to call him out and say he sucks, say that, they wish Trevor was back, or we should have done this. We should have done that. We should go with somebody else, blah, blah, blah. Like, just leave him alone, man.
Yeah.
He's young. He's got it in him that he's going to be a superstar. We all know how good that he can be because he has played a decent amount before. And this coming out, the first game that he's really the first game where he is the, hey, man, you're the guy, is against Georgia. And it just happens to be a monster defensive line. Georgia's always hyped up every year. This year, they're just as good as they've ever been, it looks like. And, it's a tough task to go up against that. But Clemson's defense held their own. Did what they had to do. I mean, JT didn't. Nobody on Georgia's offense looked any better than Clemson's offense did. And it's just, I don't know why Clemson didn't run the ball. That puzzles me. Lynn J. Dixon only get 1 carry. Everybody that I was watching it with was asking where he was, including myself. And I took to Twitter and I couldn't find anything, because usually you go on there and you might see a late scratch. Oh, Lynn J. Dixon not playing, but nothing. And then finally he got a carry in the 4th quarter, and I'm just like, what's going on.
Exactly.
And I don't understand the game plan, Tony Elliott. I don't understand it from him. But going forward, this is exactly what I said a week or two ago. I can't remember if it was the first episode or second episode. This is exactly what I saw was going to happen. I thought Georgia wins this game. Georgia's going to go on to play it's a tougher schedule than Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go on. They'll probably slip up against somebody. Clemson has all the powers that be to go 11-1 and face
especially
somebody
after
from
what
the
you
Coastal
saw,
Division who doesn't look great again.
Yeah, especially if you saw what the rest of the ACC looked like this weekend. It's still Clemson's. After this weekend, Virginia Tech is maybe the only team, and maybe Boston College.
Yeah,
only two teams that I saw this weekend I was impressed with in the ACC.
Yeah, I'm sure North Carolina can rebound. And we'll talk about that later. And Miami as well. Miami obviously had the toughest task of anybody this weekend, but Clemson is fine.
Yeah,
they're going to be absolutely fine.
There's no reason to call for anyone's head, Tony Elliott, Dabo's, nobody's head, and they've admitted it was just frustrating, and we didn't do it right. We had some bad play calling, and we just didn't do the right thing. And again, if that pick six doesn't happen, Clemson was in field goal range. So say they kick a field goal, they could have won 6-3. Is that a good win? Not really, but you won the game.
Right.
So they could have won 6-3 or easily. It was just one play. And again, frustrating. One of the most frustrating games as a Clemson fan. If I had to watch the whole thing, I would have been a mess. But it's just a frustrating game to have to watch, especially after the years of offensive success for Clemson. And it's time to settle down and get back to it. And next week should be a week you get back and get to see what you actually have on your team. But we'll go through the first week college football. It started on Wednesday. UAB knocked off Jacksonville State 31-0. Good win for the Blazers. And then on Thursday, December 2nd, Ohio State, they pulled away from Minnesota 45-31. CJ Stroud looks pretty good.
Yeah, he started slow, but he figured it out. And you know what? I was impressed with him.
Yeah. Chris Olave still a heck of a game. 4 receptions for 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mohamed Ibrahim, Minnesota,
that kid is unreal.
160 yards, 2 touchdowns. He kept Minnesota in that game. So,
and he got hurt. I haven't heard whether or not what's wrong with him, but I'm pretty sure he missed the majority of the second half. He was dicing Ohio State up. They couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
And they pound the ball with him like Tennessee does with Derrick Henry, 30 attempts. And he freaking only played probably 2.5, maybe 3 quarters. It's unreal.
Yeah. Keeping it rolling on Thursday. Top 25 teams knock off some FCS teams. Coastal beats Citadel. Utah beats Weber State. Arizona State beats Southern Utah. UCF and Boise. This game got delayed by a couple hours because of rain. I got to actually watch this one. Boise got up big, had a 100-yard pick six. They get up early, 21-0. And UCF comes back and wins 36-31. I think I saw a stat in the second half. I think there was 300 yards of offense for UCF and 72 for Boise.
Yeah, that sounds about right because UCF completed a heck of a comeback.
You can't do that against this offense at UCF. Everybody was ready to dig UCF's grave. They're like, oh, they're over. They're done. And they come back. Dylan Gabriel recovered nicely, 318 yards and 4 touchdowns.
A heck of a win for Gus Malzahn in his first game as coach of the Golden Knights.
So they were down 24-7 with 5 minutes left in the second quarter, and they got up 28-24 in the third quarter and held on to win. Came back actually, they're down 31-30 with 8 minutes left and scored with 4 minutes left to win it.
Right.
So that's a heck of a way to start the Gus Malzahn era at UCF, and I don't know if we're going to talk about them later on in the American. We'll have to see based on all. There's a ton of teams in the American that could somehow sneak in this year. It feels like.
Yeah.
NC State rolls over South Florida. App State and ECU. Chase Bryce looked good in his first start for the Mountaineers.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
259 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Looked pretty good. ECU's quarterback, Holton Ehlers.
I think it's Ehlers.
295 yards and 2 touchdowns and a pick. Shout out to Raja Harris from Duncan, South Carolina, had 22 yards rushing as well for the Pirates. Cameron Peoples and Nate Noel, though. That backfield for App State's dangerous. Combined 226 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. So App State's still going to be a tough out for a lot of people this year. And they're not going anywhere in the Sun Belt. I know last year they fell off a bit, but they ain't going anywhere. UC Davis of the FCS upsets Tulsa on the road.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that. Oh my God.
Yeah, the Aggies knock them off. They have come up out of nowhere in the FCS a few years ago. I think they got a new coach and he's brought some life. Hunter Rodriguez, a quarterback, threw for 311 yards.
On 7 incompletions. He was very efficient.
Tennessee beats Bowling Green to start the Josh Heupel era now. 38-6. They only up 14-6 at halftime. They pull away to win. Yeah. I had a friend who was at this game. He says Joe Milton, he was 11 of 23, 140 yards and a touchdown. That's not great. They had a great rushing attack. They had 2 running backs rush for 116 yards.
Yeah.
And 2 touchdowns. That's what won the game.
Yeah, my boss, Taylor, shout out to you, bro, is a big Tennessee fan. He graduated from Tennessee. And while I didn't get to watch a whole lot of the game, he did text me and say that he thought Tennessee's offensive line looked pretty good, and it shows in the stats with the rushing stats and everything. So we'll see about Tennessee.
The one thing that's interesting, there's one play, and it's one play. I don't want to stress about one play. They tried to run an RPO, and they couldn't decide which one to run. Like Joe Milton fakes the handoff, pulls it out, stands there for about 2 seconds, and then he just takes off, and there's no one blocking for him. He still got 4 yards.
Yeah,
but it was sloppy looking. But then he threw a touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone before the half. But then the third quarter, so it was like, okay, well, screw me, I guess. You know what you're doing, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do with this new offense after just pound the ball for years. Now that's like you got to hand it off and you got to be ready for the next play within like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting to see what they can do. I think it's going to throw some people off. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see against Tennessee because they got a great game this week, man. I can't wait to talk about that game.
That's gonna be great.
That's gonna be a great one. And then rounding out Thursday night, Eastern Washington knocks off UNLV. UNLV's playing at the Raiders Stadium, by the way, this year. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I did know that. That's bizarre.
Yeah, 2 overtimes. Eastern Washington goes for 2, gets it. UNLV goes for 2, does not get it. It's a heck of a win for the FCS. And now we go to Friday. And there were a pair of upsets involving Tar Heel State teams. We'll start with the Tar Heels, the biggest upset. Go to Blacksburg. First of all, Enter Sandman is back, and it was amazing.
Yes, it was.
It's one of the greatest interests in all of college football, and it was amazing to see it back with all the fans back. And Virginia Tech put it on North Carolina, 17-10. It was 14-0 at halftime. Sam Howell throws 3 interceptions. In the game, and man, you watched this game, Waffle. What was up with North Carolina? Was Virginia Tech's defense just that stout?
Virginia Tech's defense was stout, but North Carolina looked lost, man. Like I don't get it. I don't really know. I mean, maybe it was the crowd. They were rocking, obviously, and Virginia Tech looked a lot better than I thought they were going to look. But I mean, North Carolina just looked lost, and they stalled. They could not move the freaking football, and I don't even know. Like I guess I'm just more pissed off that my Heisman candidate has gotten off to an absolutely abysmal start. So
yeah, I know. And I was thinking about that. I was like, man, our Heisman candidates. You had Sam Howell. I had JT Daniels. Man, but both went out there and looked. And DJ, I had him. They were both like awful this week. But yeah, and I mean Virginia Tech's offense didn't do anything great. I mean Braxton Burmeister, I think, is a pretty good quarterback. Only had 169 yards.
He did play well for what he did, though. But
and had 42 yards rushing and a touchdown. So he did his job, but maybe it makes Virginia Tech. That's the team to beat now in the Coastal. Because
I guess who knows, man.
I mean, because now you're already a game up on North Carolina. North Carolina, they can respond well, and they probably will.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Virginia Tech's got up, and that kind of cools the hot seat on Justin Fuente a bit because he was. Yeah. It was kind of a hot seat for him this year.
No doubt.
And that's kind of cool a bit. And then you go to Charlotte, North Carolina, and Mateo Durant, the kid from McCormick, 29 carries, 255 yards, 3 touchdowns, and it doesn't matter because Charlotte beats Duke 31-28.
Oh, Duke.
Duke, a few years ago, was one of the best teams in the ACC, and that is not a joke.
This is not basketball we're talking about either.
Yes, this is
football.
college football. And they go to Charlotte. They're up 14-10 at halftime. And they get up 28-24 with a couple minutes left. All they have to do is play some defense. And Chris Reynolds, the quarterback for Charlotte, who had a heck of a game.
Yes.
Leads a great drive. He had 324 yards, 3 touchdowns. Victor Tucker for Charlotte had 8 catches for 153 yards. You can't let anybody have 153 yards receiving on you, but especially not a G5 team wanting to win this one. Grant DeBose had 4 catches for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. Quarterback was, Gunnar Holmberg didn't play horrible. Now he had a horrible fumble for the end, but 228 yards and 1 touchdown, 9 completions. Jake Bobo played fine, but it was just a very frustrating game. Gunnar Holmberg had 2 fumbles and lost one of them. Mateo Durant did have a fumble too, but still, it's just frustrating.
He is literally everything they have. They have nothing else. They have Mateo Durant, and that's it. I think it's safe to say the David Cutcliffe magic has worn off, and it's null and void now. Yeah, I love Cutcliffe. I think he's fantastic. And what he did at this Duke program, knowing the history they've had, like under Ted Roof, where they went 0-12, like David Cutcliffe coming in here and turning this thing around, being a known kind of quarterback, quote unquote, guru or genius that he is, has had some fantastic talent come through Duke on the offensive side of the ball, and the likes of Sean Renfrey or Anthony Boone, anybody like that. When Anthony Boone was there, they had that great game against Johnny Manziel where they just duked it out with A&M eventually getting the win. But Duke had some golden years, and they made it to an ACC title game, which is still blows my mind that it was Duke. Now, they got blown out because it was against Florida State when Florida State won the national title, but any
other team that year, Duke probably wins that championship, in all honesty. Even that Clemson team that year was not
Duke
that great.
Fielded some very good teams with some good players. Connor Vernon, Jamison Crowder, who's still in the NFL. Breon Borders, who is Daniel Jones, Breon Borders, who's a cornerback for the Tennessee Titans right now. They got plenty of talent that have come through, but I think it's over. They're back to they're back to the old Duke, and I think Cutcliffe's going to hang it up. He's most likely going to retire soon, I'm sure.
Yeah. And that's a shame, but hey, what he did that team was great. And, maybe Duke recovers. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see. It's early, but that's just a very demoralizing loss for the Blue Devils. Wake Forest knocks off Old Dominion 42-10. Sam Hartman, who I think is a sneaky quarterback to watch in the ACC, had 3 touchdown passes. Wake Forest might score about 40 points a game this year.
Yeah,
with that offense. They're a team that's been building up. I don't know if they're going to beat the Boston Colleges and the Clemsons and all that this year, but they're still a team to watch out for. Kansas gets their first win in almost 2 years, and they stormed the field against South Dakota.
Kansas has stormed the field twice after beating FCS opponents.
Yeah, I think they've been both of the Dakota teams. I think it was both South Dakota teams they beat too. 17-14. Yeah, that's a sad state of affairs. But
oh man.
Now they're going to go for their first win of a ranked team in forever next week when they go to Coastal. Yes, that's a real sentence. Yeah, Kansas football, Field of Thunder. Michigan State puts the smackdown on Northwestern, despite Hunter Johnson having 3 touchdowns, but Kenneth Walker the third, 264 yards and 4 touchdowns for
monster.
Michigan State. That ground and pound offense is back in the Big Ten. He's done it effectively. So, see if Michigan State can get something rolling here. And then this one. Oh boy, South Dakota State beats Colorado State 42-23.
Yeah.
Pierre Strong, who has been at South Dakota State, it feels like for 8 years, had 138 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. He's one of the best running backs in the FCS.
Yeah.
And Colorado State lost by 21 points or 19 points.
Yeah, 19 points.
Steve Adazio, those guys would not be in duels.
No,
they're just not being duels to you.
But you just wait. That's not the worst.
No, it's not the worst.
That's not the worst FCS.
It is not. Team, it is not the worst one. So we'll move to Saturday. And the way these are popping up for me on ESPN, I'm just going to talk about Gardner-Webb takes on Georgia Southern. And that's my alma mater, Gardner-Webb. And they got down 20-6 at halftime and only lose 30-25. And Bailey Fisher quarterback, 315 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. TJ Lou for 164 yards receiving and a touchdown. You know, I don't want to look too much into it. You know, Georgia Southern did take their foot off the gas second half, I think. But, you know, to come back like that on the road against a FBS team, get me excited for things going up in Bowling Springs. Also, Justin Franklin, he got Offensive Player of the Week, I believe, as well. Or he got Freshman of the Week.
Mm-hmm.
He had 72 yards receiving and a touchdown, and he threw a touchdown pass on a flea flicker.
Yeah.
So, you know, nice to see some offense coming out of Bowling Springs, and they got to play Ohio this week, so another FBS team. That's probably another loss, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
Alabama, Miami, and guess what? They still got a good offense, and still got a good defense, and still got a good quarterback in Alabama. Bryce Young, 344 yards, 4 touchdowns. I saw a stat against the blitz. Miami said, we're going to blitz this guy and see what he can do. Yeah, he threw for 12-18 for over 190 yards and 3 touchdowns against the blitz.
Yeah, kid's good.
Why? Every year.
Every year
we're like, this team, this is the year. This is the year, finally. Someone's going to beat Alabama. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. De'Aaron King, 170 yards, touchdown, 2 picks. You can't blame him. It's his first game back from an injury against this team. They're still good. John Mechie, 6 catches, 76 yards, touchdown. Jamison Williams, 4 catches, 126 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
They had a defensive touchdown, I think, too, didn't they?
It wouldn't surprise me. I cut this game off. I didn't watch any more of it.
Did you see the turnover chain have to get put back in the box?
Yes.
God, that was hilarious.
How demoralizing is that?
First of all, you're already down like 27-3 at this point. But also, you finally get something. You're like, all right, we can start something.
Yeah.
And then they're like, overturned. They got to just slowly put it back in the box.
Yeah. The turnover chain is cool. And Miami started all that. Yeah. But when you're down 4 scores, don't bring that thing out. Leave that thing locked up.
Yeah. Like, do it on the sideline by yourself, but don't be like, everybody get up. Let's get this chain out. Be like, here you go. Merry Christmas. Here you go. We'll do it like 3 more times, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bama's still going to be good. Shocker.
Yeah. Season's over. Let's just
chalk
it up. It was fun while it lasted. We'll see you next year.
Yeah. Bama and Georgia might be a fun game, though, if you're just looking at week 1.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I don't know how many points Georgia's going to score on Bama, but Bama might have trouble scoring. Bama might only score 28 on them.
Hey, yeah.
All right. 28-7. Let's go.
Great.
Another game that was interesting, Oklahoma and Tulane. We talked about this one a little bit because it got moved from New Orleans because of the damage from the hurricane.
Yeah.
It was a home game for Tulane, quote unquote. They had the field painted up for Tulane, which is a nice gesture. Tulane got to wear the home jerseys. Mm-hmm. And early it was looking like, here comes Oklahoma. They're going to roll to the victory. But Tulane, 21 points in the second half and an onside kick recovery. Yeah. And their quarterback gets tackled just a yard away from making that first down. They lose 40-35. Oklahoma still doesn't have a defense.
No.
And that's been their Achilles heel. And Spencer Rattler, another guy I picked for the Heisman, didn't look great either. Had 304 yards, yes, and a touchdown, but 2 picks. And he did this last year where he took him forever to get going. And it almost cost him. Michael Pratt for Tulane, 296 yards and 3 touchdowns passing. Also had 34 yards rushing and a touchdown. Yeah. And if it wasn't for just a great hit by Oklahoma, they probably had a better chance to go down and win the game. But got tackled about a yard short.
Tulane, if I'm not mistaken, they were decent last year, right? They were pretty good, right?
Yeah, they I think they only played like 8 games. I think they went like 5-3 or 6-2, something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Tulane could be one of those teams that gets into conference play and they end up playing well, and you might see them playing in a conference championship game or something like that. But at the same time, when you're Oklahoma and you're the number 2 ranked team in the country coming out in week 1 and you have the leading Heisman candidate behind you, there's no reason you should only win this game by 5. Which is why they dropped in the rankings today.
Yep, and he threw 2 picks, and they only forced 1 punt.
Yeah,
so that's that's gotta be that's a tough one to see for your defense if you're trying to.
Yeah,
because that's been your Achilles heel. Texas A&M rolls over Kent State 41-10. This game was actually close at halftime, 10-3, but A&M woke up, pulled away. Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of that, I feel like, this week, where a lot of top teams just kind of sleptwalk. Again, week 1.
Yeah,
I get it.
There were a lot of just close games, like games that shouldn't have been as close as they were.
Yeah, and like your fans are back. You're probably pumped up for that, and
the
adrenaline finally calms down. You're like, okay, we got to focus. This one we talked about, Iowa State and Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa scrappy, man. They always play FBS teams good.
Only lost 16-10. It was 13-10 at halftime, and Breece Hall still had a decent little game, 23 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown, but nothing really for Brock Purdy. 199 yards, and that's about it. Only 5 incompletions. It's great, but he had 58 yards rushing too. So I mean, I'll give it to him. And they forced 2 picks from Will McElvain, who's the quarterback for UNI. So defense stepped up when they need to. I feel like Iowa State's the only team in the Big 12 that has a consistent defense.
Yeah,
and that's what's made them so good over the past few years. But and we'll see what they do against Iowa this week. College game days rolling into town for that one. That's going to be a huge one.
Oh yeah.
Cincinnati rolls over Miami, Ohio. All right, Cincinnati and Notre Dame is probably your next big time game for Cincinnati. That's where we're going to see what they can do. I believe they have Indiana before that too, who we'll talk about them in a little bit. Oregon and Fresno State.
Yeah, this game was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, Jake Haener, who we talked about the week before. I'm all in on the Jake Haener bandwagon, man. 298 yards and a touchdown.
Sign me up.
And then Oregon's top defensive player, gets hurt.
Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau. He's got a little sprain. Hopefully he can come back quick from it, but
especially this week when they got to go to Columbus.
Yep.
This weekend. But the rushing attack was good for the Ducks. CJ Verdell, Travis Dye, and Anthony Brown all had touchdowns. So that's interesting to see. But man, that's you're sweating a bit in Eugene if you're watching this one. That's the only place you can watch because on the Pac-12 network. So
how do you get that? Yeah. Somebody please tell me how to get that.
TV, YouTube TV, somebody just I don't know. Pac-12 network needs to find a better way to distribute.
Because that made it so I couldn't watch another game that we're going to talk about.
Oh, yes. There were a bunch of games on Pac-12 network that were crazy that no one got to see. So that stinks. Penn State and Wisconsin. Penn State wins 16-10. This is the most Big Ten football game I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, look at it. Look at the first half. Look at the halftime score, 0-0.
By the way, I'll say this. I listened to this on the radio on the way down, and the Wisconsin radio broadcast is very good. I will say that. It's a 3-man booth, which is kind of different. And they all did a good job. They never stepped on each other's toes, and they did a great job calling it. So shout out to Wisconsin booth.
All right. I just want to throw this out to you. This is every drive in the first half, starting with Penn State. Punt, downs, punt, missed field goal, punt, fumble, punt, into half. It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, really.
That's amazing. Ches Malusi, transferred from Clemson, had a great game. He had 31 carries, and that's why he transferred to Wisconsin to get the ball. 121 yards and a touchdown. John Dotson for Penn State had 5 catches, 102 yards and a touchdown, including that 49-yarder that kind of got the scoring started. And Penn State forced those 2 picks at the end to win it. So Penn State, after having the worst year really in school history, before getting hot at the end, might be back. We'll have to see.
Possibly.
They went and handled a great Camp Randall crowd.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see what they can do later on. Florida beats Florida Atlantic 35-14. Another one of these games where the Gators got 14-0 and then kind of put it in park for a bit, but ended up winning, which that's all that matters. And Kosi Perry had a pretty good game for them. USC beat San Jose State 30-7. Nick Starkel, 308 yards, but 2 picks. So not a good day for the Spartans, even though they were in it till the fourth quarter, 13-7 going into the fourth. But USC had a strong fourth quarter to win it. This game, UCLA smacks LSU 38-27. I don't know if Dorian Thompson-Robinson's good.
It seems like that's going to be a question we ask ourselves all year.
I don't know if he's a game manager. I don't know if he's a good quarterback. I don't know, because he only completed 9 passes, but 3 of them were for touchdowns.
Yeah.
And 260 yards.
When he hits, he freaking hits.
Exactly. And then Zach Charbonnet has 117 yards on 11 carries and a touchdown. And Britton Brown has 17 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown. So there's something there.
Something.
For UCLA. Max Johnson, I mean, he had a pick, but 3 touchdowns, 330 yards. This LSU defense it's just not as good as they were that year they won the championship.
Oh, absolutely not.
And, that offense was great too, and they're still pretty good. I mean, Kayshawn Boot had 9 catches for 148 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was their offense.
Yeah.
But
man, the whole thing with Coach O coming out and saying that sissy blue, man, UCLA is just fantastic.
UCLA is just loving it now.
As much as I am partial to the SEC, and I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an SEC homer, because I'm not like that. That is my mother. My mother is the stereotypical. I pull for South Carolina and I pull for whoever's playing Clemson, but I also pull for every team in the SEC like they're my favorite team. Like, that's ridiculous. But it's so good. It was so good to see UCLA come out here and win this game after what Coach O said, and then change their Twitter header and all that kind of stuff. It was amazing. Top tier.
So great. So UCLA 2-0. They're back in the top 25. They have a week off this week, and then they have Fresno State.
Hey, Gainer.
Oh, and guess what? That game's on the Pac-12 network. Never mind. You won't be able to watch.
Oh, God dang it. I really wanted to watch that.
I
I wanted to watch Dorian Thompson-Robinson complete 5 passes for 5 touchdowns and Jack Gainer throw for 800 yards.
I know. That game might be the greatest game no one's going to see. It's at 10:45 p.m., so maybe someone will have a legal stream. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Please, somebody for us. But then they have Stanford. That should be a win. Then they play Arizona State, who's ranked at the start of October. So, get into it. We talked about they had a tough schedule, and we'll have to see what UCLA can do with that. And if they're back or their offense can continue this pace. Keeping it rolling here. I'm thinking about the top 25 first is how this goes, and we'll go into more. Iowa beats Indiana 34-6, and Michael Penix Jr. looks like a human now, and that's disappointing.
Yeah, 156 yards, 3 picks, 14 of 31. He looked like hot garbage.
Mm-hmm. Iowa was up 14-0 and win the first 3 minutes of this game because they scored a touchdown real quick. Now, Iowa scoring a touchdown real quick, that's what you need to be terrified of if you're on defense. Because Iowa takes their time and then score again. Yeah. If Iowa crosses 30 points, your defense has a game.
Right.
Tyler Goodson had 19 carries for 99 yards and a touchdown. So, Iowa's going to pound the ball at you. And like I said last year, Iowa ended the year strong. We're a couple plays away from being undefeated and playing Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. I don't know if they would have won it, but they would have put up a fight, I think. So, it's a good Iowa team. Next one. Oh, this one's good. Washington falls to the Montana Grizzlies.
Curse you, Pac-12 Network. I wanted to watch it.
Me too. I saw the score I saw the score 7-3 at halftime, and I kept sending Waffle Twitter updates. And then I saw the score when it was late in the game. I was like, "Oh my gosh, what channel is this on?" And I saw Pac-12 Network and got very sad.
Yes.
Dylan Morris for Washington throws 3 picks. You can't do that against anybody. And Montana, by the way, is ranked. I think they're ranked number 5 in the FCS poll that just came out today. So they're a good team. Gavin Robertson had 2 of those picks. Montana didn't do a whole lot either, by the way.
Right, yeah.
Like, look at the stats. Montana went 2 of 13 on 3rd down, had 105 yards passing, 127 yards rushing, and had 7 penalties.
Yeah.
So it's not like, they weren't trying to win this game, I don't think. You just didn't do anything to pull ahead, Washington. So
right.
Now we get to see a very overhyped Washington-Michigan game on Saturday Night Football. Woohoo.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a good game, but it's gonna be like, who cares?
It's just 2 teams. Like, Washington can be good, but they always disappoint. It just happens that the disappointment has come early this year.
Yeah.
And Michigan is, besides somebody like maybe Florida State, they're always overhyped, and they suck. Harbaugh's trash.
Speaking of teams that are always overhyped, Texas actually looked good. Beat Louisiana, who's ranked 38-18. Bajan Robinson, 20 carries, 103 yards and touchdowns. Jordan Whittingham, 7 receptions, 113 yards and a touchdown. I refuse to say Texas is back because
I refuse to say it as well, but I am going to support Bevo home field. Hello. Got my Texas shirt on because they are no, they're not back. They're never going to be back. But this was a good win. I really wish Louisiana could have put up a better fight, but it was a good win to start the Sarkisian era at Texas, and inevitably when they lose 2 stupid Big 12 games in a row and finish the season like 8-4, they're not back.
God, if they lose to Kansas this year,
please,
I might ascend. That would be the funniest loss ever.
Oh my God!
They always lose to Kansas State. It seems like every 4 years. So I think it's been a while since they lost to Kansas State. So
if Kansas beats Texas, I will live on the podcast burn this T-shirt. It's a fact.
Let's go. Okay, other scores from the week 1. Kentucky beats UL Monroe 45-10. UL Monroe got up early in this one, and then they put it in park. Boston College rolls over Colgate 51-0. Phil Jakovic had a good game, 303 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, 61 yards rushing. He's a good quarterback too. I think it's overlooked a lot because of Boston College. Hasn't been great the past few years.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be good this year too. Michigan beats Western Michigan. Rutgers beats Temple 61-14.
Yeah.
Woof, Temple. Woof. Oh my God, hold on. The leading passer is from Temple. He went 8 of 25 for 148 yards and an interception.
Yeah.
That's sad. Okay, here's this one. We gotta spend some time on this one.
Here we go.
Holy Cross. The College of the Holy Cross.
The Crusaders.
Goes to Storrs, Connecticut, and knocks off UConn. Okay, upset. They beat him by 10. 38-28.
Yeah.
Jack Zergotis, like UConn quarterback, what a name. 17 of 41. Yes, 17 of 41. You can stop passing if it's not working. 174 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he threw a pick 6 off of someone's helmet.
Yep.
And got destroyed on a block.
Yes, he did.
And then Matthew Sluka for Holy Cross, 14 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown. And Randy Edsel comes out and says, I'm retiring at the end of the year. Okay. Bit weird to call that. Yeah, apparently his team was like, nah, you got to get out now, fam. We don't want to play for you. Yeah, Randy Edsel was gone. And his coach now is the defensive coordinator, who was the guy, if you've seen the clip, he's trying to rally his troops. You know, again, this was a close game for the most part. He's trying to rally his troops. They're down, I think at this point they were down 31-28 or something like that. You're trying to rally your troops, get ready. He brings them all into this huddle, and literally none of them put their hands up. That team is done, and there are 2 weeks into the season.
It's just sad, man. Like, I didn't think there could be a worse team than Kansas, but I think this is it. Like, historically, like in the past 10 years.
Yeah. This
is bad. This is just so bad. And there's another one we'll talk about here in a minute too, but like it really hurts me. It hurts me to my core because this is the same school that beat South Carolina in the PapaJohns.com bowl game.
It was the same coach.
It was the same coach.
And
they beat us 20-6 in Alabama. And it was negative 5 degrees. It was horrible.
Yeah. And who are they going to beat this year? Here's their schedule.
They are not.
They have Purdue next. Purdue should beat them. If they don't, they go to Army. They host Wyoming. This is the worst stretch of football, by the way, I've ever seen. October 2nd at Vanderbilt. October 9th at UMass. College game day. You won't go to that UMass game. Please do it. Please do it just for us. I don't care what else is going on October 9th. I don't care if number 1 team in the nation next on number 2 team in the nation ends up being 45-44 and Jesus himself comes down and blocks the game-winning field goal. I want UConn and UMass on college game day at 8 o'clock on ABC. And then next week they have Yale, Middle Tennessee State, and then, you want to see a murder? November 13th, get to Clemson, South Carolina. Clemson plays UConn this year. Clemson's not going to only score 3 points in that game, folks. Clemson may break the scoreboard. They scored 84 points against Wake Forest in 1981. They may tie that. And then they go to UCF and they host Houston. Is UMass and Vandy are the only 2 games I can see them maybe winning? because Vandy has looked so incompetent.
I'm pretty sure these are all televised as well, right?
Yes, they have a deal with
CBS Sports Network. Seems like they have
they have all their home
contract
games
with UConn.
And you know that Clemson game is going to be on TV.
Right.
And Vanderbilt's going to be on SEC Network or ESPN Plus or something. UCF's probably going to be on ESPN Plus or something like that. Yeah. This team makes me angry.
It's ridiculous.
This team was wanting to join the ACC 7 years ago. I'm very glad they did not. And I think they still are trying to, because that's why they're playing Clemson, because they're like, hey, we can impress. And no, you're not. At that point in the year, just cut the check, take a forfeit. Have some COVID cases pop up. I don't care if your entire team's back. So you're going to have some COVID cases pop up that week.
Just don't show up, bro. Like, don't refuse to come.
You don't have to play these games, y'all. We learned that last year.
That Vanderbilt UConn game is going to be the best piece of crap you're ever going to watch.
I have one game I'm waiting for that we're going to talk about later. That's this week. I am so excited for October 2nd and October 9th for UConn and Vandy and UConn UMass, because those games are going to hurt my soul to watch these two teams attempt to play football.
Watching those two games is enough to make me not want to watch football for like 5 years.
What if that was the first ever college football game you watched, UConn and Vandy? I would hate the sport forever. We're gonna, yeah.
This is televised, but I can't find the Pac-12 network.
You can show me UConn on every channel, but I cannot watch Oregon at all.
It's ridiculous.
CBS Sports paid money for that, but won't pay money to broadcast the SEC after 2022, by the way. Think about that. Anyway, Kansas State beat Stanford 24-7. Skylar Thompson's been there for 40 years, only had 9 completions. I forgot this game was happening until I saw the final score, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked by the result, but then again, I really don't think I know anything about either team.
I just know Skylar Thompson's been there for like 40 years, and Deuce Vaughn's the running back for Kansas State. He's good. That's all I know about him. Army beats Georgia State 43-10. I'm pretty sure Army attempted 5 passes in this entire game and completed 3 of them.
Yep.
That's triple option football for you.
We love it.
Nebraska beats Fordham 52-7. Did you hear about the Fordham linebacker had 31 tackles?
No. Did he really?
Yeah. This Fordham linebacker had 30. It was only 30, but they corrected it because they went back and watched the film and gave him an extra tackle. He had 31 tackles. That's a new D1 record.
My God. Yeah, he did. Jesus.
Yeah. That's insane. Shout out to him.
Unreal. Yeah.
I mean, I hate you got smacked 52-7, but
Hey, it was 7-0 after the first quarter, and I was so ready to watch Fordham beat Nebraska so I could clown the mess out of Scott Frost, and they could fire him on the field before he left in front of
Bo Pelini run out of the tunnel.
Crowd.
He runs out of the tunnel coming from Youngstown State, just comes running out the tunnel. It's like, nah, you're done. Go home.
Man.
Arkansas beats Rice 38-17. Arkansas had the score of 31 points in the second half to win this one, but
Arkansas sucks.
Yeah, they got Texas this week. That'll be an interesting one to see. Marshall smacks Navy 49-7. That stinks about Navy when the Navy's been struggling recently, but
yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, that's a good Marshall team as usual. So we'll see. Grant Wells is still a good quarterback. Maryland beats West Virginia 30-24.
Go Terps.
Wearing the throwbacks that need to be permanent.
Those
need to be the most permanent jerseys. Just make the helmet, keep the helmet, make the jerseys back to what you wore in like 2007.
Yeah.
Perfect. Talua Tagovailoa, 332 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. When he's on, he is on.
Yeah, he's good.
And so I think I don't know, Maryland may not win the Big Ten, but they're going to compete, I think, with some people this year.
I wish Maryland was still in the ACC.
Same. I keep forgetting they're in the Big Ten half the time until I see him play like Penn State. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Mississippi State beats Louisiana Tech, has to come back from behind.
Had to escape.
Yeah. Scored 21 points in the fourth quarter and a missed field goal, went 35-34. The most exciting thing I'm seeing about this game too is Louisiana Tech has a wide receiver named Bub Means.
Yeah, I see that.
That's awesome. But yeah, Will Rogers finally got going, 370 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jaquavius Marks had 71 carries and 2 touchdowns. So
yeah. Mike Leach has lost his luster with me. Like I'm not interested in Mike Leach anymore.
Yeah,
I'm just not.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how good Mississippi State's going to be, but it didn't look great to start. So we'll see. Missouri beat Central Michigan 34-24. They had to rally a bit for this one, but they ended up getting the win. Jacob Sermon's a good little quarterback out of the MAC, leadership was. Pittsburgh beats UMass 51-7. There's UMass again. If you went to this Pitt UMass game, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was what you decided to do with your life, but you got to see Kenny Pickett put on my show.
Right.
Wyoming held on to beat Montana State. Liberty rolled over Campbell. Auburn beat the smack out of Akron.
Yeah.
60-10. That's a battle of 2 former schools coached by Terry Bowden, by the way. That's the Terry Bowden Bowl. The most average, below average bowl game of all time.
Yeah.
Bo Nix had a good day. Tank Bigsby had a good day. Everybody at Auburn had a good day.
Yep.
So that's all I can say about that. Syracuse goes on the road and beats Ohio. Syracuse always goes and plays the MAC on the road to start the year for some reason. And that one year they lost to Western Michigan. That was the year Western Michigan was really good. PJ Fleck, but
yeah,
it's worked out for him and gets you a win, gets you a road win, which looks good. But
yeah,
I don't know. Syracuse, they've lost their luster too. Dino Babers is on the hot seat for sure. Purdue beats Oregon State. Did you know that Jack Plummer, I believe it's Jake Plummer's brother, is the quarterback at Purdue?
Yeah. I heard him talking about it while I watched a little bit of that game. But yeah, that's crazy. I didn't
313 yards, 2 touchdowns, and David Bell 8 catches for 134 yards. Purdue's a team a few years ago. Rondale Moore, I thought was going to be the greatest team in the Big Ten. Then Auburn smacked them in the bowl game, and
yeah,
they kind of fell back down to earth. And we'll see what they can do this year. But that's a good start.
If that's Jake Plummer's brother, what's the age difference here?
I don't know. Maybe he's
Jake Plummer's got to be old, dog.
Jack Plummer's a junior. Maybe it's like a stepbrother situation.
Jake Plummer is 46.
Could be a stepbrother type deal. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Congrats to his parents, though. Texas Tech beats Houston 38-21. They come from behind to win that one. I forgot this game was happening.
Yeah.
Texas Tech's quarterback. It looks like Tyler Shue. I think his name's like Tyler Shack. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his last name. Shough. It's Shack or something like that.
That doesn't sit right with me.
It doesn't either for me. Oklahoma State had to hold on to beat Missouri State 23-16.
Another one of them close games for no reason, and then followed by the next one, Baylor
and Texas State. I did not know this game was happening until I saw the score, and apparently, according to people on Reddit, this was one of the worst games of football they've ever seen in their lives.
I heard a lot about the broadcast. Like the broadcast
sucked.
Bad.
Yeah,
camera angles were just not the right angle, and they'd switch late, and it was just a bad viewing experience.
I'd have to go back and check that broadcast out. It's on the ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. Memphis rolls over Nichols. Scores of note here. UTSA knocks off Big Ten champion Illinois 37-30. So UTSA has a win over Nebraska is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
UTSA is one of those sneaky teams that will come up and beat you. They always seem like they have a good quarterback. I mean, Frank Harris had 280 yards passing and a touchdown. So,
right.
Good job of the Roadrunners. Go on the road and go win the Big Ten. Northern Illinois and Georgia Tech. We're going to talk about this more later. I was at that game, and Rocky Lombardi came in clutch. He had been struggling all game, leads a clutch drive, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they go for 2. And back at the end zone, I saw another angle. Well, if I got to send you this picture of that 2-point conversion, the video guy, I think for NIU, was right in front of the play. And he put up his freeze frame for when he was editing today.
Yeah.
He called that ball. His hand is right underneath the football. It's a heck of an angle.
Nice. By
the NIU video crew.
Yeah.
So shout out to them.
Because I thought first look, they showed it from the back of the end zone, and I was like, I don't think he caught it. And they showed one that was further out from the sideline.
Yeah.
And they showed that one, and I was like, wait a minute. I think he really caught that ball, and ultimately that's what they went with, and
Yep.
they won the game.
But yeah, that's Northern Illinois' first win in over 600 days. They went 0-6 last year, and they lost the last game of the season in 2019, or they won the last game of the season in 2019.
Yeah.
Harrison Whaley, by the way, for NIU had 144 yards rushing. Georgia Tech could not handle the no huddle, and that's going to be an issue. And Jeff Collins is the cheesiest man in college football, and it's not working now. You're 6-18 as a head coach now.
He's trash.
And you got smacked by Clemson last year in a COVID year, 73-7.
Yeah.
You got them. They have Kennesaw State this week, which Kennesaw State didn't look great either. But man, if your team ain't ready for that triple option,
yeah,
come beat you. And then you got Clemson. You could start 0-3. I could see Georgia Tech starting 0-3 with losses to NIU, Kennesaw State, and Clemson. Yikes. So I'm not impressed with Georgia Tech. Their backup quarterback had to come in and didn't look bad. Jordan Yates. He has more speed than Jeff Sims does. But, dog, they missed 2 field goals that should have been made.
Yeah.
And they had the ball I think they had ball 9 times, Georgia Tech did. 8 of their drives ended in NIU territory. They only scored 3 touchdowns. You can't do that against anybody and win the game. That was ugly for Georgia Tech, and I'm not impressed with all of them. Virginia smacks William A 43-0. Brennan Armstrong looked good, so good win for them. And then this one in Nashville, ETSU, the SoCon, beats Vanderbilt. Okay, well, that happened. It's Vanderbilt. It's an FCS upset. 23-3.
A 20-point drubbing.
23-3. Ken Seals threw 2 picks for Vandy. Quay Holmes for ETSU had 23 carries for 149 yards.
There seriously needs to be a relegation element.
Send to the Sun Belt.
Conferences.
Because I think Coastal could beat Vandy. App State could beat Vandy.
Oh, for sure. Vanderbilt
Louisiana could beat Vandy.
Would have a tough time being middle of the pack.
UL Monroe would hang with Vandy, I think. And they're one of the worst teams in football.
Yeah. This is bad. This is ridiculous. And an SEC school is losing by 20 to an FCS team. Like, how are you that bad?
Yeah.
Like, how are you that bad? I know it's a smart school. I know it's tough to get into it. But my God, if they can consistently have an elite baseball team and elite something in the 3 major sports, basketball, baseball, football, there's no reason you can't. James Franklin did it. Exactly. James Franklin turned this into a respectable program.
Yeah. Plus, you are in downtown Nashville. You have one of the best cities in the South to recruit to.
And a place that is still rapidly growing. And how could you not bring people?
They have a pro football team too.
Right.
It's not like they're gonna have to be bored of anything else.
They have freaking pro football. They have a
hockey.
They have a hockey. They have a soccer team. They have an MLS team.
It's the same thing with Georgia Tech and Atlanta. Like, you got to get those kids there.
Yeah.
And I know I get you're two smart schools, but how
watch South Carolina lose to Vanderbilt this year, and I will die on stream.
Yeah, and what's Vanderbilt's ceiling either? Because they're amazing on 6-6 every year. That's it.
Yeah, that's even that.
You had to get Sarah Fuller to play on your team for the people watching now. Again, she was good when she got to do her job when your team actually scored.
Right.
She did her job.
Yeah.
Nobody else on that team did their job. My God.
No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Vandy and UConn, that game's going to suck. And that should not be put on TV, streaming, or anywhere. It has to be on Jefferson Pilot. Needs to have that game. They don't even exist anymore, but come on. Hey, how about update a team I hate, but a quarterback that Waffle kind of hates too. Jake Bentley makes his South Alabama debut and gets a win, 31-7. 69 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And looking at this, I was looking at Vanderbilt when we were talking about it, and I looked down, and I saw the score, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that game happened." And then I saw Jake Bentley, and I said, "Oh my God, I forgot that he's still around."
I know.
Oh my gosh.
And by the way, you see that Frank Gore Jr.
Yeah.
We're all old. We are all old. We're all getting older. The day that I look out there and a little Charlie Whitehurst Jr. comes out and play quarterback somewhere, I might die because I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like, I am an old man.
Yeah,
I am an old man.
for sure.
Keep it rolling. Nevada beats Cal 22-17. I watched the end of this game, and Nevada looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Carson Strong's a good little quarterback. And Nevada's always going to be a dangerous team, I feel like. BYU beats Arizona 24-16. BYU was smacking Arizona for a bit, but Arizona came back and made it
interesting.
Yeah. Another game on the Pac-12 network that no one got to watch. Utah State upsets Washington State 26-23.
Dumb.
So not a good look for Nick Rolovich. But Max Borghi still had a good game for him.
There's a lot of things about Nick Rolovich that are not looking good. Yeah,
Nick Rolovich has already been on the hot seat for stuff.
There's a lot of off-field issues
in the off season, and this is not a good way to start it.
Yeah, no, it's not it, Chief.
I did see. So, if you watched college football, you saw the horrible Applebee's commercial. I'm assuming that played like every 5 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone said the only way to end the Applebee's commercials have 0-11 Washington play 0-11 Washington State in the Apple Cup sponsored by Applebee's and just play that commercial constantly in the background.
Have it like an NBA game where there's music going on during the plays.
Yes, and they don't stop it during play. Song. You just hear that song. Everybody in the stadium's just dying. But everybody has to eat Applebee's at that game too.
This should be like where you send like our most wanted prisoners once they capture them. Like they should be sent to this game as torture.
Oh, we're getting free food. Oh, game football, and the song starts playing. It's like, oh God,
it's Applebee's. Oh, we revolutionized the burger by putting an egg on it. Shut up! I freaking hate Applebee's. I will not eat Applebee's. It takes
47 minutes to get here, but
look at me, like look at me. I'm big. I will not eat at Applebee's. I refuse. I'll eat anything but Applebee's.
Oh man! Well, then we roll a Sunday, and Notre Dame and Florida State put on a barn burner on ABC or ESPN. I can't remember when it was. Jack Cohen, 366 yards and 4 touchdowns. He looks great. That defensive line for Florida State don't look too bad though. And then of course one of the best stories, Mackenzie Milton comes into the game for Jordan Travis, who was struggling, leads a touchdown drive, and leads a field goal drive to get them to OT. And unfortunately, it can't get it done, can the Seminoles. But, man, it's just great to see Mackenzie Milton back out there and playing again.
Yeah, it is. It was awesome. I was so lit when he came in, and happy he had a good showing. Hate that they couldn't come back and win the game. But this is just another one of those games that, like, deep down, I know. I wish they both could lose, man. I don't like either of them.
Yeah, I was pulling a little more Florida State, to be honest, when Mackenzie Milton came in. But other than that,
yeah, me too, for sure.
I just hope it was a good game. It was a good game. Kyle Hamilton for Notre Dame, so good on defense, man. He came across the field for a pick that he had no right picking off. Had 2 picks, so great job by him. Notre Dame, you know, we always have this conversation. If they're good enough, they have Wisconsin. Since they have a stretch of Wisconsin, Cincinnati, Virginia Tech, USC, and North Carolina.
Yeah.
And after that, the end of the season is pretty easy. They got Virginia on the road, which will be a tough one. And Navy always plays them a tough game, it seems like. But, you know, I think if they can get, they'll probably get, they may lose one of those games. But if they can get through that stretch undefeated, you got to start talking about that for sure, about the playoffs. Especially with Jack Cohn, your boy, Jack Cohn left Wisconsin. I know Wisconsin didn't have their moments on Saturday, but man, if you're a Wisconsin fan, you're kind of kicking yourself a little bit.
My God.
And go. And then finally on Monday, the game we learned nothing from. Lane Kiffin could not be there because he has COVID, but he got to zoom into the stadium and got his own little leather helmet, which was hilarious. 43-24 win for Ole Miss. Ole Miss looked dominant. Matt Corral had one of his good days. 381 yards passing and a touchdown. Only one touchdown. It was kind of disappointing. But Dontario Drummond looked great. 9 catches, 177 yards and a touchdown. There were 4 players ejected for targeting.
Yes, in the first half.
There were 5 total reviews of targeting.
Yeah.
Which some of those, you know, we talk about targeting. It's a good role. You should have it, you know.
Yeah.
But some of those rules, like, what can you do in some of those situations? So I think it needs to be changed. I think it needs to be kind of like, unless it's just malicious, it needs to be kind of like a flagrant 2 or like a flagrant 1 in football. It's a 15-yard penalty, and that's a warning, like a normal personal foul.
Yeah.
And then
I
after
agree
that,
with that. I don't like the all in or nothing mentality.
Yeah.
Like I think it should be treated like a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2. So whereas like, always enforce the penalty. Like it's going to be 15 yards. That's fine. But like these kids don't deserve to get ejected for it all
and
the
plus,
time.
like if the running back lowers his head and you lower your head at the wrong time,
that
can look like targeting too. I think, I think unless it's you just straight up, you're going to spear this man out of his shoes maliciously, you gotta be able to look at that. I thought they looked at that for a little bit, but I guess they changed their mind. So
I guess so.
So that's week 1 of the college football season. We spent way too much time on that.
We did.
That's great. We're doing great at this podcasting timing thing.
But
we're gonna move on now to our previews for this week, and we'll start. I'm gonna start with mine first because mine's pretty simple. It's South Carolina State and Clemson. Clemson should win. Clemson should win big. South Carolina State's coming off a loss to a good Alabama A&M team. Kendrell Flowers had 14 carries for 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. Shaquan Davis had 5 catches for 140 yards and a touchdown. Buddy Pugh, one of the best coaches in FCS history, has turned that South Carolina State team around. But again, they're going to play Clemson. Clemson's offensive line should not have the same trouble that they had against Georgia's defensive line. These receivers should be able to get open. DJ should have a field day. You might keep him in a little longer just to see what he can do because he didn't get a real good evaluation week 1. Same with guys like Justin Ross, who's coming back from injury. Maybe you see Lynn J. Dixon a little bit longer. So you might see some guys last a little longer. Clemson's not going to run a team that's going to run the score up on you because like you saw last year in Citadel, they got 49-0 at halftime, took everybody out, and it was 49-0 was the final. So, but you're going to see, a lot of people play for Clemson, I think, this week. Clemson's going to get back on track. Clemson's going to, I think, roll over South Carolina State. I think Clemson, if Clemson doesn't drop 50, it's going to be kind of disappointing. And, but hey, if you win, you should get a shutout with this defense. And, it should be just a fun day in Death Valley being back with all the stadium full for the first time in a long time. So, it should be an easy win for Clemson. That game's also at 5:00 on the ACC network. Strange time. We'll get into why that's a strange time later. And, it should be a fun night in Death Valley.
Yeah, should be good for Clemson. I think they rebound fine. And like you said, this will be a good game to kind of smooth out some cracks.
Yeah.
Do whatever.
Halftime show is going to be amazing because South Carolina State's Marching 101 is amazing. So if you go into the game, go see that. Hopefully Clemson's up like 38-0 at halftime. And then you're good to go.
Yeah.
But at noon on ESPN2 in Greenville, North Carolina, this line has shifted so much on this game.
Yeah, it's weird.
South Carolina, ECU. ECU opened as a 2-point favorite. Now the line is even. Yeah. And I was very concerned about that 2-point. I about, sorry, Mom, I'm gambling. I about put a bet on South Carolina to win outright because I was like, that's easy money right there. Like,
right.
I think South Carolina should have Doty back, I believe.
Yes, they said that he should be all ready to go.
Yeah, and then Kevin Harris, if he's back too, I think they're going to beat ECU. It's going to be a tough place to play because it's usually packed up in Dowdy-Ficklin, especially with it being their first home game and with fans in a long time.
Right.
And also being a Power 5 team. And ECU's beaten some Power 5 teams. They beat North Carolina a few years ago, beat Virginia Tech famously a few years ago.
Yeah.
ECU is going to play you tough. I think South Carolina goes up and wins this game. Waffle, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think so. It's so hard for me just because I'm always not like a Debbie Downer or anything, but like I just don't want to hype myself up too much because I've been burned so many times. But South Carolina should go up there and have a good day, especially with Doty being back. I'm excited for him to be back, and we can see how he's progressed from last year with the little bit that we saw him. And I'm excited Kevin Harris should be playing, so I'm ready to watch him run the football. And we'll see what this defense can do and see if they can hold up against definitely a better offensive attack, especially through the air than Eastern Illinois was with Holton Ahlers coming in here, who, like we talked about earlier, threw for 295, 2 touchdowns and a pick last week. The ECU, based on what they did against App State, they only had 86 rushing yards. They do throw the ball a lot more than they run it. So this will be a good test for South Carolina's secondary. But East Carolina did allow 230, almost 230 rushing yards. So I would think South Carolina should have, once they get it going, they should be able to open up the holes. And Kevin Harris, Zaquandre White, Lloyd, any of them should be able to get going and probably have a good day, hopefully.
Yeah. If you look at the Massey Index, which I feel like is more of a better telling of how some of these games are going, they predict South Carolina to win 35-21. I agree with that for the most part. I think South Carolina wins. Maybe ECU gets a touchdown late to make it kind of close, but
yeah,
I think South Carolina is going to be able to hold on and pull away for a victory and start off the Beamer era 2-0 before you get in the conference with a tough game. So
yeah,
that's all you can ask for. So we'll quickly go down the schedule this week. Week 2, baby, is a beautiful mess.
Yes, it is.
Because last week you can keep your Duke's Mayo Classics, your Chick-fil-A kickoffs, your Houston kickoffs, your Wednesday games in Montgomery, Alabama. Well, actually, you can bring me those because that's weird. I want to see this because we open up on a Friday. There's no games on a Thursday because of the NFL. But on a Friday, Kansas goes to Coastal Carolina, and Coastal is ranked. Coastal was picked to win this game by 25 points, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch this game and enjoy it.
Me too.
You're going to learn nothing from this game.
No.
No one's going to enjoy this game. Maybe Coastal fans will.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
8 o'clock also, ACC Network. This game's going to be fun. Probably for some stupid reasons too. North Carolina A&T plays Duke. Duke should win this game. A&T's kind of slipped a little bit. But don't slip up with the Aggies.
Don't slip up on the Aggies. It's going to be Duke. Mateo Durant's probably going to run for 300 yards in another loss.
Mateo Durant's going to win the Heisman and be like 0-12. Oh man, and then you think, oh, okay, that's it. All the weirdness happens on Friday. Oh no, because on Saturday there are 3 games that kick off before 11 a.m. before noon, and one of these is on the ACC network. It's Illinois and Virginia. That's right. You get to see Archer Siskowski again and Bryson Armstrong against a Virginia team who just hates everybody and will fight you. With Bronco Mendenhall coaching them at 11 a.m. They're making these boys play at 10 a.m. local time for Illinois players against Virginia.
Why? Why is that? Why are they doing this?
Because they got to fit 4 games on TV for some reason. The ACC Network, the greatest channel of all time, and I agree with anything they do.
Well, all right, whatever. That's gonna be a beautiful mess of a game.
Oh, absolutely. 11:30, you get Army and Western Kentucky on CBS Sports Network. Army's just gonna run the ball like 400 times. Except though, hold on a minute. The Western Kentucky quarterback's thrown 7 touchdowns. Interesting.
Wow.
This game got a lot more interesting. Was that in one game?
Yes, it was. They're only 1-0.
Oh my God, it was. Yep, against UT Martin, he threw 7 touchdowns and 424 yards. Oh, we forgot to talk about the guy from Presbyterian College.
Oh yeah.
How did we miss that?
God.
Yeah. Presbyterian College. We're going to have to keep an update on the Blue Hose every single week now.
Every week.
Because they won a game 83 to 40 something, 84 to 43.
Yeah.
Let me pull up these. Oh, it's so weird seeing the Atlantic Sun as a football conference too, by the way.
Yeah.
And also I got to go to the Pioneer League because that's where PC is in now. 84 to 43. Ren Heffley, a transfer from Michigan that you could have had this Michigan, but now he's in Clinton. 38 to 50, 538 yards, 10 touchdowns. That's a new record. Now, again, if you remember, there was this high school coach in Arkansas who never punted. Yeah, he's the coach at Presbyterian right now. Every single kick they had was an onside kick, and they literally had no punts. I think they didn't kick any field goals either.
Yeah.
So yeah, his backup Tyler Huff got in the game at 7 of 9 for 2 touchdowns passing, 63 yards. So yeah, they also did not run the ball a whole lot. I still had 193 yards rushing, but
yeah.
Video game numbers from the Blue Hose. I hate they're not in the Big South anymore. I hate that so much.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're wondering, Presbyterian plays, what is this team? UFTL is what it says on ESPN. The UFTL Eagles. Dog, they're going to drop 100 on this squad.
Could it be an abbreviation for like Fort Lauderdale?
It might be. I
think that's a long shot, but I don't know.
I now have to look. I'm all in on the Blue Hose this year, man. I'm all in. If you tell me every game is going to be just like that, it is Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, let's go.
The Fort Lauderdale Eagles. I have never heard of this team ever. By the way, PC is now in the Pioneer League. They got rid of their scholarship football for a couple of years, which is a very stupid decision. But, but yes, they're playing, but they have to schedule non-conference games. And when you can't find people, you go play Fort Lauderdale. So they may drop 100 on this team.
Yeah, good grief. What a crazy situation.
Yeah. And then they play Campbell, and then they go into conference play. And that'll be interesting to see how they do in the first year of Pioneer League. But, dog, if they get to the playoffs, man, for FCS, I'm going to be super excited for them.
Yeah.
Because PC is just one of those lovable loser type of schools. And, dog, to see them just get on national news and all this is real nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to be keeping up Presbyterian all year. Hopefully y'all will too.
For sure.
Big noon Saturday, Gus Johnson, Oregon and Ohio State. Ohio State's a 14.5-point favorite. I think after watching Oregon last week, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's justified. But it should be a good game. I'm excited to watch it.
Oh, yeah. Should be good. Good to see what CJ Stroud can do against them. Also at noon, Kennesaw State and Georgia Tech, like we talked about.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting one to see.
Pitt, and Tennessee.
Then, oh, yes. The Johnny Majors Classic. This is another game. You will learn nothing from this. Every preview magazine I've seen has been, well, we'll see what happens. The super weapon comes to Knoxville. Take on Tennessee. Pitt's picked to win by 3.5. Tennessee's still learning that run and gun offense.
Yeah.
Pitt is Pitt. And will drag you down to a level of you don't want to play football anymore.
Right.
I'm so excited. I hope this final score of this game is like 26-18. Something stupid. I will be so happy. I wish. I love my job at Carson Newman. I wish we didn't have anything at home this weekend because I would be in Neyland Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
I would find a way there. And I would be wearing a Pitt home field apparel shirt.
Yes, sir.
Go Panthers. I want to see Kenny Pickett play football and the rest of this team just do whatever they want. And it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
This game, again, going to learn nothing, going to prove nothing.
Absolutely.
But will be
nothing.
fun.
Yes.
And I can't wait. Over-under's only 57, by the way. So, no confidence in any of these offenses to do anything.
No.
Keep rolling. You think, oh, well, okay, I can't be too stupid. Tulsa plays Oklahoma State. I think Tulsa almost beats Oklahoma State every year they play.
Yeah.
So they come close. 1 o'clock game on ABC. Florida's at South Florida. Florida should win that one. They picked to win by 28, especially after South Florida looking to NC State. But you never know. Road game. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, it's at Raymond James Stadium, so not really a road game, but whatever. This is a weird time. 1:30 p.m. Wyoming plays Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
It's a weird time, but go Huskies. I'm all in on the Huskies after watching them last week.
Oh, yeah.
So then, okay, you see Illinois and Virginia at 11. What we got coming up at 2? Rutgers and Syracuse, baby. In the Carrier Dome.
Amazing.
Why is this? Yeah, this is a football game. It'll be played. Rutgers picked the win by 2, by the way.
Something's going to happen on the field.
Yeah. We said that last week about Rutgers and Temple, and Rutgers dropped 61.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Who was it that played? Was it Maryland? Oh, yeah. It was Maryland 2 years ago when they scored like 70 points against Howard and like 60 points against somebody else week 2, and they went to Temple and scored like 8.
Yeah.
They left off all their points in week 2, and they're like, we're going to put it in Park. After they won like 4 games that year. So, 2:30 of Toledo and Notre Dame on Peacock. Yeah. Week 2 is amazing, y'all. Week 2 is amazing.
This is really good.
Again, it's harder to watch that game than it is to watch the Pac-12 network.
Yeah, and where at least with that one, like I know what to do. On it. At least with Peacock, I know what to do. I know I have to pay money, and like, bam, here it is.
Yeah.
The Pac-12 network literally is just who knows? Nobody knows how to watch it.
3 o'clock. Purdue is at UConn. Waff, how many points do you think Purdue's picked to win by?
30.
It's over 30.
35?
33 and a half.
Yo.
Yeah. UConn football, just get through it this year.
They're not.
No, they're not. They'll terminate the program by week 5.
Put them in the Pioneer League. Let's see them play PC.
Oh, absolutely, yes. I'd be excited. 3:30. This game might actually be good. We're not here for that. Texas A&M and Colorado. Texas A&M picked to win by 17. But remember, Nebraska went out to Colorado a few years ago, and Colorado beat them pretty good. So
yeah, they're playing this at neutral site too. They're playing this at Empower Field.
That's right. So we'll see. Texas A&M can do after they struggled a little bit against Kent State early. Boston College goes to UMass. That's going to be a massacre.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 37.5 points.
Warren McGurk Alumni Stadium in Amherst, Massachusetts.
God, UMass used to play at the Patriots Stadium. Why would you get that?
Yeah, they used to play at Gillette.
Yeah. Buffalo and Nebraska. I would not be surprised if Buffalo wins this game. Buffalo usually has good quarterbacks.
Sick of Nebraska.
And I would not be surprised. And then at 3:30, oh baby, Cheez-It Bowl revenge game. Cal and TCU. There are players still on this team from TCU. I remember that game. And from Cal.
Yeah.
That was the game where TCU had a quarterback come in with drop foot to attempt a 2-point conversion. What is drop foot? It's where you cannot pick your foot up because you have no nerve feeling in your foot. That's the kind of game we saw. 8 combined interceptions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Greatest bowl game of all time. Greatest bowl game of all time. They're meeting for the first time in the regular season since then. TCU's picked to win by 11.5. Just watch that game. Just watch that game. Again, you'll learn nothing. You'll prove nothing. I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
Air Force is at Navy. It's a good rivalry showdown. They got some cool uniforms this week for this one, too, honoring the some of the divisions within the services. And it's always a good game when the Armed Forces Academies play. At 4:30, this is college game day game. Iowa and Iowa State. Iowa State's picked to win by 4.5. And the over-under is 46 points.
I'm honestly surprised that Iowa State is a 4.5 point favorite.
I am too. I figured Iowa would be more of a – I mean, it's at Iowa State, but I figured it'd be like a 1-point game or something.
I mean, I thought with the showing that Iowa had last week and the showing that Iowa State had, like they were complete polar opposites. Like they both won, but Iowa State obviously struggled and Iowa dominated.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised by that.
By the way, the rankings, number 10, Iowa, number 9, Iowa State. That might be the final score of this game, too.
Yeah. Very high possibility.
Yeah.
There could be something even dumber, like 11-8.
Yeah, the last time they played when it was on game day, y'all remember this one. They had that hailstorm that came through.
Yeah.
And delayed it for like 2 hours and it ended on a muff punt.
Yeah. It ended on a muff punt that Iowa State caused themselves.
They ran into their own guy.
2 players colliding.
And I'm pretty sure the final score was like 14-12 or something like that. Something stupid.
Field of Thunder.
Yeah, the Cy-Hawk Trophy is the greatest rivalry of all time. You can't.
Why? But see, Iowa State's in the Big 12. Yeah. But when you get dragged down to that Big 10 level, it just gets grouped in. Like It's all just Big 10.
They forget how to play offense at that
There
point.
Ain't no big offenses when you come in here, bro.
Houston plays Rice. That's usually actually a pretty good rivalry game, it seems like, the past few years. Interesting to see Houston's picked to win by 8. Clayton Tune, they're a good quarterback, so should be a fun one. Texas and Arkansas at 7.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens. Yeah, Texas only picked to win by 6.5. That's going to be a tough environment for Texas to go into.
Yeah.
Arkansas, second half looked great against Rice, but again, it's a lot better team than Rice coming in.
Yeah.
And Texas, what to see. 7 o'clock, this one I'm very interested in. And the line has shifted down a bit. Miami and App State.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, dude.
Miami went to Boone a few years ago and beat the tar out of App State. Mm-hmm. But this year, it's only a 9-point game. Chase Bryce has looked good. And Chase Bryce has played against Miami. He played for Clemson.
Yeah.
And, De'Aaron King coming off his injury. You hope if you're Miami fans that they look a lot better this week. But
yeah,
App State could hang with you, I think, if your defense isn't ready. So,
yeah.
That'll be an exciting one down in Miami. NC State and Mississippi State. NC State, man, they always get hyped up every year, and they go off and they lose some stupid game, or they go play Clemson and get smacked by 40. So we'll see.
I already told you I'm not Mike Leaching it anymore. Like NC State all day for me. I'm not amused, Mike.
They picked the win by 2.5, so I can see that happening though.
Hey, side note before we get into another one, Florida International is hosting Texas State. Do you know who the quarterback for FIU is? It's Max Bortenschlager from Maryland.
I love him. Let's go.
Like that's I didn't even know he went down there. I
didn't know that either.
Anyways,
he had a good week against Long Island. Only 3 incompletions. Let's go.
Yeah.
Continuing on, your nightcap's not really great. You have Memphis and Arkansas State, 2 teams who absolutely hate each other.
Yeah,
playing at 7. There may be a fight there in that game, which is awesome.
Possibly.
New Mexico State.
New
Mexico State and New Mexico. That's a pretty big rivalry out there, but New Mexico should handle business. But
yeah,
it's 2 teams who are kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Georgia State going to UNC. We'll see how UNC can rebound from their Virginia Tech loss.
Missouri and Kentucky. That game will be 14-9. It always is 14-9. I don't care if it's 56.5 point over under. They're not going to score 56 points total. There's not.
Ain't no way they're hitting that.
No. These 2 teams just forget to play offense when they play each other. And
I am hammering the under.
Yeah. That should be a fun little rivalry game. And then McNeese State and LSU. If you're wondering why I'm talking about that one, Cody Orgeron is the quarterback for McNeese State. Is Ed Orgeron's son. So interesting to see his father-son play against each other. And the Cowboys got beat by D2 West Florida last week pretty bad. So we'll see what happens in that one. Then Washington, Michigan, it's going to happen. It's a game. We'll see if Michigan's a real deal, and we'll all get excited, and then Michigan will go off and lose to Penn State by 40.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen every year. And then 10 o'clock, you want to stay up for this one. Vandy and Colorado State.
Colorado State opens up as a touchdown favorite.
And you get to see some guys being dudes who lost to 2 FCS teams by 20 points last week. I'm excited. And then you think the excitement doesn't end. Oh, no. Pac-12 after dark. First, though, Utah and BYU, 2 schools who legitimately hate each other.
Yeah, a legit hatred.
This is legit hatred going on. The Holy War. That's literally what it's called. 10:15 p.m. on ESPN. That's going to be a fun one. Stanford and USC play on Fox at 10:30. And then let's stay up late. FS1, Hawaii and Oregon State. Because why not?
This should be a good week.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be
It's not as power packed, but you know what? Some of those power pack matchups from last week really didn't deliver like we thought they were. They were all good.
Yeah.
But they didn't deliver like we thought they would. But so maybe this week we'll get some unexpected, dogfights.
Absolutely. So now that you've set through, almost 2 hours of college football talk, we got more. NFL starts this week. It's back. Full stadiums back. It's going to be fantastic. And it's going to be great. And there's a lot of expectations for both of our teams, Waff. And we'll start with the Titans. They kick off at 1 o'clock against the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals, of course, added J.J. Watt in the offseason. And now they also have Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins for the Titans. Looking to see what Ryan Tannehill can do again, along with Derrick Henry and a new piece of Julio Jones. The Titans are picked to win by 3 points in this contest in Nashville. Wow. What you looking forward to seeing from the Titans this year?
Man, I'm just looking forward for Sunday to watch this defense because talked about it in the preseason. Titans defense last year, we all know was bad. Worst third down percentage, and it was an abysmal percentage, like something that was like it's in the history books of how bad it was. And the defense was bad. Like they were just flat out bad. That's why we had so many games that were dogfights, and we were fortunate that our offense was so good that even in our dogfights, we were able to go 11-5. So I'm excited to watch this defense. It's like we said, they had a great preseason. I'm just ready to see what they can put together on the field because it's no secret that we lost. We let go of Malcolm Butler, let him go in free agency, who he actually went to the Cardinals. And if you didn't hear about that, he just retired this past week. And we lost. Well, we let Adoree Jackson go, and he signed with the Giants. So those are two starting corners there. Now, Adoree was back and forth about playing last year because he was hurt. But so we're going to be bringing in – we got Jack Rabbit Jenkins from the Saints, who is a veteran for sure. He's older. But I think he's been good for the team based on everything I've heard. Other corners probably going to be Christian Fulton or possibly Caleb Farley, who we drafted in the first round. In the safety positions, you're going to have Amani Hooker and Kevin Byard. So I'm really excited to see how they play. I'm hoping it goes well from things I've seen, but I'm really excited to watch this defense. But obviously, I'm excited to watch this offense. I mean, Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Taylor Lewan back at left tackle after missing the year of tearing his ACL. I'm excited, man. I really am. And it's going to be a tough test because Arizona has done some good things on the defensive side of the ball, like obviously getting J.J. Watt. We know their offense is really good, and they're loaded with talent. Now they added somebody like A.J. Green, who is older, but depending on how it goes, a change of scenery could do great things for him, and he could have a heck of a season. But yeah, I'm nervous. I'm real nervous just because I don't know how our defense is going to be in Arizona's offense. I think it's going to be really good. But I'm ready for it. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I'm so excited to hear Scott Hansen say 7 hours commercial-free football. I cannot wait. I'll be glued to the TV.
So pumped. I just clicked add again on that Sports Plus package.
Yep, me too. I did it yesterday.
So excited. Well, game I'm excited for, of course, the Buffalo Bills host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big time game in week 1. Bills are a 6.5-point favorite, but you never know what to see against this Ben Roethlisberger offense. You still have Juju Smith-Schuster. Of course, they took a little turn, and T.J. Watt. They're not backing up the Brinks truck, T.J. Watt, just yet.
Yeah,
which is interesting to see for the Steelers. So interesting to see how he plays this year. But then they've said a lot of good things about Josh Allen. He looked good in his one preseason game. There's a lot of MVP talk about him. He could have a big year. Stephon Diggs, of course, back. He didn't play any of the preseasons, so I'm interested to see what he does week 1. Cole Beasley is back. Gabe Davis took another step forward, I think, in the preseason. Got to get the rushing attack going. That was a problem last year. If Devin Singletary couldn't get going, then the Bills struggled on offense. And defensively, they got Greg Rousseau, a big piece on that D-line, had a great preseason. Trey White, of course, one of the best corners in the NFL. That just doesn't get talked about enough, I feel like, because Stephon Gilmore's so good in that same division.
Yeah.
He was also in the Bills, and if he wants to come back home, please come back home, Stephon. Come back home.
Yeah.
There were rumors of that happening, but you got Micah Hyde too, Levi Wallace. This is a good defense as well. That's going to drag you down and make you play their type of game. They did that against the Steelers last year on Sunday Night Football, and that was the reason Steelers started that slide. That was the second game of that Steelers losing streak in the season, and just demoralized the Steelers, I think, and affected them in the playoffs. So we'll see. I think the Bills, they can come out and win this first one. That's a huge, great start. This division this year, I think, is going to be a lot more interesting than the AFC East because the Dolphins, I think, going to have something. Hopefully, they could have something put together. They've been rumored to get Deshaun Watson too, so I'll be interested to see if they get that mid-season. Patriots, I think, are going to be better than last year, and and then of course you got the Jets, but Jets could sneak up on you. Maybe you never know.
Yeah. Right.
So it's going to be a tougher year this year. I think the Bills are going to do well, but it's got to start here. And I'm again so excited to get to watch this game and to watch all the games this Sunday. And we'll go through the schedule real quick. So on Thursday, Cowboys and Bucks, the defending champions, Tom Brady. They get to raise the banner. Bucks pick the win by 8. This is Dak Prescott's, of course, first game back. I think it's going to be a pretty good game, actually. I think it's going to be a lot more offense than people think. The Cowboys are a vastly different team when Dak's in there. And I think that's going to be a very fun one to watch on Thursday.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be a good one to kick off the year. I'm excited to watch the Buccaneers get back out there because they literally have lost nothing from their Super Bowl run team. And I'll be excited to watch Dak Prescott play again because, I mean, we all know how good he is. regardless of how you feel about the Cowboys, like he is a very good quarterback, and it was tough to see him go down with such a gruesome and bad injury last year. But yeah, it should be a high octane matchup, and we'll see if the Bucs defense can stop Dak Prescott and company.
As of right now, Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown are questionable for the Bucs, but they should be fine, is what it's looking like. Zach Martin is going to be out though on the offensive line for the Cowboys, and he's a big piece of the offensive line. So
yeah,
interesting to see against that defense. Eagles and Falcons are on Sunday as well. No Julio Jones, of course, in Atlanta, and Jalen Hurts is starting quarterback. I'm interested to see what he can do. Atlanta's picked the win by 3. The Atlanta Falcons doc just wrapped up, by the way, on YouTube. I need to watch the final 2 parts of it.
Yeah. I've seen part 6 is really good. I watched
part of it and I got busy and I need to watch it back in, but
part 6 is very good.
Vikings at Bengals. Joe Burrow back. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Hopefully his pieced together offensive line can help him out finally. And
yeah,
hopefully Jamar Chase can catch some footballs because
Let's hope so. I still can't believe that they drafted Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell from Oregon. Like Joe Burrow's got all these weapons to throw to: Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. How's he going to throw when he's got a second and a half?
Exactly.
To literally catch the ball, try to figure out who's throwing it to before he's getting nailed again.
Yeah. So roll on. 49ers and the Lions. A lot of people thinking Trey Lance is going to start. Well, Trey Lance has a broken bone in his finger. He is questionable. So you'll see Jimmy Garoppolo again. You also see the debut of Jared Goff in a Lions uniform in the regular season. Brendan Ayuk is also questionable for the 49ers, as is Devontae Harris. So there's a lot of pieces. He's out, actually. So there's a lot of pieces kind of missing for the 49ers. They're still picked to win this one. It's going to be an interesting look to see these two teams. So you have one quarterback situation kind of up in the air, and you got, of course, a brand new quarterback in Goff. But besides the tight ends, I don't know who he's going to throw to in Detroit.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Seahawks and Colts play. Colts, Carson Wentz might be back.
Yeah, him and Quentin Nelson maybe, which is I guess in best case scenario if you're a Colts fan, because I mean, good God, 3-4 weeks ago you thought it was called crashing to an end, and it was all crashing down before it even started.
Yep. See what Russell Wilson can do with his new deal, and Wednesday in Seattle, and so interesting to see what he can do. Seattle's picked the win by 2.5, but the ESPN FPI gives a slight edge to the Colts. So
yeah, just throw it to Tyler Lockett, bro, please.
Yep.
Please.
Waffle's currently doing his fantasy draft right now, so
I am currently doing a fantasy draft. I have Tyler Lockett in another league, and I'm about to draft him again in this league. I had the next pick, and I don't really know who else to take.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chargers took on the Washington football team. Justin Herbert looking to have another good year. Washington. Curtis Samuel's questionable, but interesting to see what Washington can do. I think Washington's a tough team every year to beat.
Yeah.
And the Chargers are the Falcons of the West Coast, in which they will give up a lead in a heartbeat.
Correct.
And it's going to be an interesting little contest between those two teams to start the year. Jets and Panthers, Sam Darnold revenge game start the year.
Yeah.
And Zach Wilson is the starting quarterback for the Jets, and he's not going to have Jamison Crowder to throw to. He's also might be down LaMichael Piron and Michael Carter. They're both questionable.
Yeah.
So
good luck, kid. The Jets did pick up Corey Davis.
That's true.
Who had a great year in Tennessee last year. So I'm excited to watch him, and I hope he does great. And I hope Wilson has a good season. And I hope he can throw to Corey Davis a lot because I like Corey.
Yeah. Panthers and Christian McCaffrey are open. He's back and healthy and good to go. He's a big part of their offense, and to see what Sam Darnold can do down there. This next game, this game's going to be ugly. Jags and Texans. You get to see Trevor Lawrence.
Yay.
Tyrod Taylor is the starting quarterback for the Texans because Deshaun Watson does not want to be in Houston, and nobody wants Deshaun Watson right now for several reasons. Jags are picked to win this game by 2.5, and also the Jags do not have Travis Etienne, and DJ Chark is questionable. So
Not
might be a heavy
good.
dose of LaVisca Chenault on Sunday.
Yeah. Screw the Jags. I'm sorry. I want nothing but bad things to happen to them.
Listen, as long as Urban Meyer's coach, they have no offensive line either. So, man, when they
Right.
play the Bengals, I think they play them at some point. Yeah, it might
Yeah.
be 12 combined sacks in that game.
Yeah, both of them might get.
I would bench
slaughtered.
Trevor and Burrow both of those weeks and just be like, just know what, second stringers, go see what you can do. Your 4:00 games, you got some bangers at 4:00. Browns and Chiefs. That's gonna be
That's
really
gonna be awesome.
Game. Baker Mayfield versus Patrick Mahomes, just two high-scoring offenses. Get to see if the Browns are back up to snuff as they usually are. Tyrann Mathieu's going to be out as well.
Yeah,
for the Chiefs. Odell Beckham Jr. is questionable. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is also questionable, as is Darrell Williams. So we'll find out and see if they're going to play week 1. But that's going to be a fun game. That's going to be a really fun game. I believe Tony Romo and Jim Nantz are on the call for that one.
Yeah, that's
your big-time game. Ian Eagles on the call for the Bills game, which I am excited for. So excited.
The best.
He is the best. And then 425 Dolphins and Patriots. It's Battle of Alabama quarterbacks. Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa meeting in Foxborough. 3-point favorites are the Patriots. It's going to be interesting. Hunter Henry is questionable for the Patriots. So that's a big target for him. Xavier Howard got the bag, by the way.
Yeah,
he missed that. And there were rumors he was wanting to come to Buffalo, and man, I'm disappointed he didn't. But good for him getting paid because he's one of the best corners in the league. And that's what makes that Dolphins team so scary this year, I think. Packers and Saints, first game without Drew Brees in a long time.
Yep.
For the Saints and Packers, a lot of people thought Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be on the sideline, but he's back for at least one more year. And also, this could be a preview for possibly down the playoffs. Interesting injury. Will Lutz is going to be out for this game, the kicker for the Saints. So that's a big one because he's made some big time field goals.
He's a heck of a kicker, man.
So that could be interesting when it gets down late. If it comes down to a field goal game. Then you have Broncos and Giants. This is just that weird game you always see at 4:00. You're like, why is this game so late? Broncos and Giants, Teddy Bridgewater and Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley, he's questionable as well. Evan Ingram's questionable. Noah Fant's questionable. Bradley Chubb's questionable. So a lot of the big stars right now are they might play, but they might be limited in week 1.
Yeah.
So that's a game that it's going to be a football game. Glad to see who is the defensive lineman for the Broncos? Oh my gosh.
Bradley Chubb.
No, he went to Texas A&M. Von Miller.
Oh yeah.
Von Miller's back, hopefully. So glad to see him back after getting hurt last year. Then your NBC Sunday night game. It seems like a weird Sunday night game to me, but it's the Bears and the Rams.
Yeah.
I feel like these teams have played on Sunday Night Football 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And it's never been a good game to watch. But they play each other. Rams are 7.5-point favorites. Matt Stafford in a Rams uniform. It's going to be interesting. Tremaine Ankrum is out from the offensive line for the Rams. And John Wolford, the backup for the Rams who played some last year, is questionable. Andy Dalton is going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
For the Bears. We'll see how that looks. Sean McVay might be on the hot seat. He took them to a Super Bowl a few years ago, and they didn't do anything in the Super Bowl. And since then, just kind of they've been good.
Yeah, I think they are going to be good this year.
Yeah,
just combining their defense is going to be elite. But with Matt Stafford, I think their offense is going to be really good. I'm excited to watch them play.
Yeah. The Monday Night Football game, Ravens at the Raiders. Raiders. Finally get some fans in the stadium. So good. Lamar Jackson versus Derek Carr. That should be a very fun matchup. Josh Jacobs is questionable for the Raiders this week. Nick Boyle is doubtful for the Ravens this week. So it's going to be a fun game. I think 2 fun offenses. I feel like when the Ravens are on Monday Night Football, it's always a fun game too.
Yeah.
For some reason. Also, get to see. Are you going to check out the Peyton and Eli broadcast of Monday Night Football?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. Just see them both in the booth talking it up.
yeah.
And I feel like the Monday Night Football broadcast has improved dramatically over the past couple of years. Steve Levy does a good job with it.
I just don't. I don't know, man. I'm not
Interesting.
on the Steve Levy. I like Steve Levy, but as far as like the Monday Night Football, I don't like it. Now, I didn't like it when it was Joe Tessitore
And Booger and Jason Witten.
Jason Witten. Booger and Jason Witten sucked, but Joe Tessitore is a national treasure.
Joe Tess called that game Sunday.
Yeah,
it was really good with Greg.
Love
McElroy.
Tess, yeah. But and Booger and Witten brought him down so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But there hasn't been a Monday Night Football duo as good as Gruden and Tirico since they were around. Like they were amazing, and I loved listening to them.
They need to just try Sean McDonough on there again.
Yeah, I like Sean. I think Sean's really good at what he does, and obviously he has some of the most iconic calls and voice cracks you'll ever hear in your life. But
Lean tackling history of the Chiefs.
That is so funny, and I would hate that moment if that actually counted as a touchdown for the Chiefs. But that is the funniest thing that I've ever heard. And every now and then I'll just go on YouTube. There's like a 30-second video of him just saying that, and it kills me. It's so funny.
I'm surprised the guy that didn't try. He's moved on to Fox Sports stuff. Pat McAfee, I'm surprised they didn't try him out at least some.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
He's really good on Friday Night SmackDown, which is a completely different animal, I know, but he's really good. He was really good on game day. He was good on the Thursday Night Football booth, and I believe he was with Tess on that one too. So, he was with Adam Amin, who was also on Fox now, who's really good too.
Yes, love him too. He's great. So,
all
I'm saying is Anish Sharaf is an ESPN employee. Bring him to Monday Night Football, bro. He's ready for the big time.
He's so good. He is so good. Like, you have so many guys there that do college football. They're so good, and I don't know why they just they can't find them on the NFL anywhere. Because whenever they do those like reverse ones, or Kirk Herbstreit calls the games sometimes, and Reese Davis called Monday, those are pretty good. So
yeah, I do like those. ESPN will probably do something stupid like put Beth Mowins on it or something like that. Oh, God,
this game's not at 10 a.m. Why am I here? They stuck on Pac-12 after dark a few years ago, and I was like, "Don't confuse this woman."
I just feel like Beth Mowins, like every game she does, she's like, "We're live from Ryan Field in Illinois for Northwestern, and who gives a crap?" It's a brisk 10:30 in the morning as we kick off. It's 55 degrees.
There are 9,000 people in this stadium. All the kids are doing homework. This game's going to end up being actually pretty good when you look at it. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Oh, man, we get Joe Buck back, too, for football.
Oh, God.
Well, Joe Buck baseball is actually really good, but he cannot translate well to football for some reason.
Joe Buck baseball's fine. He's still got a couple of baseball moments where I'm just like, will you show some emotion, please?
Yeah.
But then there's some moments in baseball like where he literally shows Gus Johnson type emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many football ones that are just so bad. Oh my God.
Last year, it was kind of funny. Last year, I guess it's because they had no fans and Joe Buck just really did not care. He was actually pretty good last year.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know if he was more relaxed or what, but he was not horrible. He was more funny. So hopefully we see that more this year. But sometimes you're like, Joe, it's a game-winning touchdown pass.
I know. He just freaking, man. I don't know. His call, like, go back and watch the Hail Mary in the Super Bowl between the Giants and the Patriots, the helmet catch.
Yeah.
You get so caught up in the moment, you don't even notice the commentary because it is a fantastic moment.
Mm-hmm.
The commentary is so nonchalant. Like that's not the most incredible thing that's happened in 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Need Gus Johnson to call a Super Bowl.
I know. And I can't remember what game it was, but that Eagles game where he's just like,
it's the kickoff against the Bucks in the playoff. Yeah.
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
and
Now,
down to the 25.
It's
He
the
just
opening
ran
kickoff
the
for NFC
He
Championship
ran the opening
game.
kickoff back 75 yards.
In the
And
NFC
you
Championship.
said 4 words until you said down to the 25. Shut up. I hate Joe Buck. God. And I don't like Aikman either. That's why the freaking NFL game of the week just pisses me off
And they
every
stick
time.
the Dallas Cowboys on it every week.
And it's always the freaking Cowboys.
Where the 4-5
stupid,
the 4-5 Cowboys against the 3-6 Eagles in the game of the week.
some
Who cares?
Stupid
Who cares?
NFC East matchup. If it's not the NFC East matchup from Christmas Day where Mike Vick led the comeback against the Giants and they ran the punt back, I don't want to watch it.
Yep. Well, this week, good thing is Cowboys playing on Thursday. So, they're going to get that Packers-Saints game, aren't they? I'm disappointed now. Stick them in that Giants-Broncos game for some reason. Just do that. I don't care about that game. Yeah. Speaking of Gus Johnson, did you hear the call he had, I think, on Thursday night about the kid getting shot in the face or something?
Oh, no, I didn't hear that.
They were talking about some kid I think it was Ohio State in Minnesota, apparently got shot over the offseason and has come back to play, which is a remarkable story. But it was Gus Johnson talking in his Gus Johnson voice.
Yeah.
So the young man got shot in the face and is back here playing football. I was like, I'm sorry?
Wait, come again?
Got nothing better than the Ohio State hit.
Oh,
totally
God.
illegal. You got barbecue back there? He didn't invite me.
Hurt my
feelings.
I love it.
Got last year Texas-Oklahoma game that went like 4 overtimes when he called it. Oh my God. I was ascending for like 20 minutes.
He's so freaking good.
Every touchdown was like every touchdown. He acted like it was the greatest thing he's ever seen in his life.
Yeah.
There's also more Gus Johnson praise. There's a video of him. I can't remember what he's doing or who he's with, but he's like in the background just randomly, and it just cuts to him for like 5 seconds and goes, "What it do? Ha ha!" I'm like, oh, yeah. I love this man. So yeah, we could probably go on and on about our favorite announcers too as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We have picked some out, and
no doubt.
Dude, the one that's underrated for me is Reese Davis, because when he shows some emotion, he gets into it and is really good.
Yeah, I like Reese, and I like Chris Fowler. Like when he called the Alabama and Georgia national title game with Devontae Smith catching the ball, like that's a great call, and I think he does a great job.
When Chris Fowler gets into it, so good. Like that Hunter Renfrow catch is iconic to me, of course, for many reasons. With Clemson, but he had the perfect call on that one, and so good. Jim Nance is good. Jim Nance is so good at golf too.
Nance is good at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Nance's call doesn't matter what it is, and I'm gonna be entertained.
Nance's Masters call when Tiger Woods won it after the first, he just shut up and let it happen, and it was so good.
Yep, so good.
And then of course Miller after he's my goat for basketball.
Yeah, see, like we have our picks for different sports. Like if I could pick for a college basketball game, like I want Dan Shulman and I want Jay Billis, and I don't want anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the GOAT team, and they always do Duke games too, which is always a good time. And they called with Dan Shulman, and it could be Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, and Dick Vitale. Like that is a heck of a trio.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so caught up on that because Austin Rivers buzzer beater against North Carolina, they called it, and that's such an iconic call. But for pro football, it's Iron Eagle, no doubt. Iron Eagle all day. I want to listen to him call any game. But Kevin Harlan, I love
Kevin Harlan. Is so good, man.
He is so good at what he does, and he's funny.
He's
so
hilarious.
Funny.
Have you seen the call when the streaker came on the field?
Yeah.
At one game. Pull up your pants.
Yeah. I love Kevin Harlan.
He's so good at basketball too.
Oh yeah, he is. He's on, and he's the voice of all the 2K games.
Mm-hmm.
When you're going to the menu and he's like, let's throw it down to David Aldridge. David, thank you, David, because you skipped the screen. Amazing. Love it.
And yeah, I just say too, man, Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts are so good.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened between Dan Fouts and CBS, but God, that was such a good pair.
Yeah. Who is Ian Eagle with now? I can't remember.
It's still pretty good.
I wanted to say Charles Davis, but I don't know if that's right.
If that sounds right, but
I don't know.
Ian Eagle, CBS partner.
I wonder who's calling the Tennessee Arizona game.
Oh, I looked it up. I saw it, but I can't remember.
It should be on CBS. I guess
Yeah.
Tennessee's
Oh,
the home
list
team.
on NFL and CBS broadcasting pairings. Oh, these are just pairings of games.
No, whack. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Iron Eagles with Charles Davis and Evan Washburn.
Okay, so it is Charles.
Yeah. I think Andrew Catline's on Titans game.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like
Lofton
Andrew.
and Ross.
All right, it's my turn again in this draft. This draft's not going too great. I just feel like it could have gone so much better. Who's the starting running back in Buffalo?
Buffalo, I think it's Singletary. It's considered a starter.
Yeah,
Hey, let me find that out real quick.
I don't know what to do.
Depth chart. It is Singletary, then Moss. And then Matt Breida. I didn't know he was the first stringer. No, I don't want picks. I want who is. I saw this like 2 weeks ago. I got very excited. I heard the NFL and CBS theme, by the way, a few weeks ago. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that's always wanted to get the blood pumping.
I got excited. I don't care about college. Okay, here we go. Here are the pairings. Titans actually get Tom McCarthy and Tiki Barber. Interesting. Kevin Harlan's on that Miami and New England game. Nice. With Trent Green, who is very underrated too.
Yeah, I like Trent.
Yeah. Ian Neal, Charles Davis, Evan Washburn in Buffalo. Greg Gumbel and Adam Archuleta are in Houston. Oh God.
Where is Spiro Diddy's at? I love Spiro's.
Spiro's at that too. Chargers Washington game. Spiro is really good.
Spiro's good. I really like
Spiro's really good for March Madness too.
Yes, yeah, he is.
Now I'm gonna look up Iron Eagle calls now.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see what the Fox announcers are for week 1. I feel like Fox's NFL announcers, like it's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I can't remember anybody off the top of my head. Adam Amin.
Yeah.
And he usually does the Chicago games.
Yeah.
Let's see. The pairings are
who's the guy that's on Madden, like the guy that's the voice of Madden? He's on Fox.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Oh, Gus Johnson's gonna work some games this year.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I like that. Okay. Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma.
Yeah.
Do some. Adam Amin and Mark Schlereth. That's a pretty good one. Greg Olson is going to do something this year.
Oh, nice.
With Kevin Burkhardt and Pam Oliver.
Okay.
And then, of course, Joe Buck and the America's Game of the Week is going to have Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, Mike Pereira, and Tom Rinaldi. What the heck?
Yeah.
That's a stacked move. And Christina Pink, too.
Wait, is Tom Rinaldi not with ESPN anymore?
Oh, yeah, he's not. I forgot to tell you that because I did not know that until I watched week 0. And I was like, all right, I missed game day because I overslept. I don't have to look the emotional Tom Rinaldi piece. Yeah, I'll turn it on. There's him talking about Bobby Bowden. I'm like, thanks, man.
Yeah.
This hurts. Chris Myers is with Daryl Johnston. Mark Sanchez. It's going to be doing some with Kevin Kugler. Gus Johnson's going to do something with Keith Talib. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Joe Davis. Oh, Joe Davis is the Madden guy, I think. That sounds me. I could be wrong.
I don't think that's them. I can't remember his name.
Then Fox NFL Kickoff is your normal people.
Yeah.
So Colin Coward's going to do some too.
Nice.
And Mike
I
Vick.
think I'm one of the only people in the world that like Colin Coward. I think that Colin Coward is an idiot and he does say stupid things. But that's what gets people to watch him.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, as stupid as we all know Skip Bayless is, like people will watch him because of what idiotic thing he puts on Twitter
See,
the
I
night
would love
before.
that show if Skip wasn't on it because Shannon Sharp's hilarious, man.
Oh, Shannon's great. Have you seen what they're doing with First Take?
Yeah, they're gonna have
I
different hosts.
love
Michael
it.
Irvin,
I
Stephen A.
love it.
Smith, Tim Tebow's coming in.
Mondays are going to be chaotic.
Oh,
It's gonna be
absolutely.
so chaotic. And I did not watch it yesterday, and I wish I would have, but
I saw some
those
clips.
are
And I
going
was
to be
like, oh
awesome.
boy.
Those are going to be so good.
The greatest Stephen A. Smith clip was some NBA player got arrested for pot or somebody got pulled over for pot. And I watched all 3 hours of First Take at work just to wait for him to go, stay off the weed. He said so loud, like Molly Kiram's ear was like earpiece couldn't take it out because he said so loud.
Lamar Odom, who was on crack?
Max Kellerman's face.
Freaking love it.
God, Stephen A. Smith, you can love him or hate him.
I freaking love Stephen A. Stephen A. is so good.
When they put him on Sports Center for those games, for NBA games, God, that was hilarious. That was great. I was like, thank you. Put him and Gus Johnson on the broadcast just because.
Right.
We gotta find a way to have him, Gus Johnson, Shannon Sharp, and Skip Bayless on the show together and just let them go.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up NFL. I think we've wasted a bunch of hours. Best play that you saw. I'm gonna start off with mine. It comes from Northern Illinois. Like I said, 2-point conversion. I showed the freeze frame earlier from Northern Illinois video guy. Great play by Tyrese Ritchie. Post game, we asked him in an interview. We asked him like, "Did you catch that ball?" He's like, "Oh, I caught it. I definitely caught it." And he had a big quote. He's like, he takes pride in catching the football. He had a catch early in the drive where he just mossed somebody for Georgia Tech. When his name was called in the back of the end zone and got it. So big time win for NIU, and also getting the blocked field goal. Talked to one of their linebackers after the game, and he said, "I don't know who blocked it, but I'm glad they did."
Yeah.
And he was on that play on the other side. But Georgia Tech, man, you missed 3 field goals in that game. And they didn't. They had to do a 60-yarder because the player did not get out of bounds the 2 plays before, and Georgia Tech had to waste the timeout. So
you
get out of bounds, maybe have time for 2 plays instead of just 1. But who knows? We'll see. What Georgia Tech can do later in the year. Northern Illinois, glad they got this win. It was just a big time game, and it's great to have fans back. Even though they saw the team's heartbreak on their team, but the Northern Illinois fans who came in bunches, they were loud all night, and they did a great job, and just a fun weekend in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Waffle, what's your play of the week that you saw from the South Carolina game?
Oh, my play of the week is it's something that it didn't even count, and it is a good play, but at the same time, it is illegal, and it happened twice in one play. So watching this game, having a good time watching it because Carolina's playing well. Carolina's already blocked a punt. Like, things are looking good. The game couldn't have gone any better at this point. And we stopped Eastern Illinois again. So it's 4th down. They're going to punt. We're coming like dogs after this punt and freaking almost block it. But it ends up being a good boot. Kid boots it from his own 35 to the 6. And so Josh Van, wide receiver for South Carolina, grabs the ball. He's far on the left side on the 6-yard line. Comes back across. He's running across the middle. Bam! And I mean, dude just gets absolutely freaking laid out on a terrible blindside block by Carolina. Lays out this poor Eastern Illinois Panther. And I was like, oh, God, that's a penalty. And literally not a second later, bam, another one. I freaking just right back to back 2 blindside blocks. I love it. I know you love it. I mean, violence.
It's fantastic.
I love violence. It is a penalty, and it negated a pretty decent return. I really don't even know where he returned it. He probably only returned it 5 yards because he ran all the way across the field. But those 2 blindside blocks just killed me. Oh, and then on the penalty, they called 1 blindside block and a holding on Carolina. They didn't call both blindside blocks, but they should have. They were both definitely penalties. But those poor Eastern Illinois Panthers got smacked.
That's just a rough night for the boys from Eastern Illinois. Just
get
beat that bad. Ooh. I'm sorry, I saw a highlight from Clemson and Georgia, and oh boy, DJ got rocked on this one play. Yeah. That's week 1 college football. Again, we talked forever about that in the NFL. Hopefully I'll stick with us on that. It's great to not have being confined by a radio show, but it's also like we talk a lot too much. And of course, we on that tangent about the announcers. So
right, and we started recording like we are recording earlier than we normally do, and
we're ending about the same time.
We did that so that I wouldn't have to do the show during my draft, and here we are 37 minutes into my draft.
Yeah.
So I apologize if the last 37 minutes I've seen zoned out, but I'm trying to build this fantasy team to win me some money. So
very important things going on here. So yeah, but that's about all for this week. This weekend you can find me this Saturday. I'm calling some soccer action for Carson Newman, Eagle Sports Network, against Trevecca Nazarene on 3:00 on Saturday. So check out that if you can. Also check out this YouTube channel, of course, has that Sights and Sounds video like I told you about from North Illinois. So check out some of that stuff. Waffle, anything that you got to plug right now?
A little bit. Just tomorrow, I'll be working at Lander University for the men's soccer game. As they come out and look to, get back to winning ways, which they've always been good. You know how good Lander men's soccer is. They took down another D1 opponent in preseason this year in PC after beating South Carolina last year. So ready to watch some Lander men's soccer, ready to see them get back on track after a couple of years of, last year they got bounced or they didn't even make it because they didn't really have it. And only like the top team made it and they lost I think Francis Marion. But I'll be doing PA for soccer tomorrow. And then other than that, I'll probably be at a high school football game Friday night, and I'll be watching football all freaking weekend. So ready for Sunday to watch the Tennessee Titans and the rest of the NFL. Cannot wait.
Oh yeah, Sunday I'll be in Bowling Springs, North Carolina. I'll be working replay for Gardner-Webb and Clemson women's soccer. Clemson coming to Bowling Springs. Nice. Should be an interesting matchup there. Gardner-Webb got their first 2 wins of the year this week against Jack State and Alabama State. Also a shout out to Kennesaw State volleyball, who just swept Alabama in straight sets at home 3-0. So big time win for the Owls. I got a new court too, by the way, Waff. I got to send you a picture of.
Oh yeah,
it is a dope new volleyball court only.
Heck yeah.
Dog is so sick. So shout out to them. So yeah, glad we could waste your time, hopefully.
Yeah.
If nothing else, we went way too long on this. But yeah, thank y'all for listening. Y'all been great job supporting. Home Field Apparel, we didn't really plug it this week, but please sponsor us.
We are always here.
Exactly.
We're always here for you, Home Field.
Exactly. Shout out to Home Field. Even the North Carolina stuff did look pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
It looked fantastic. I hate it, but it looks so good.
I hate it, but I kind of want it. But go buy it from Home Field Apparel. No shirt this week, but they'll be back next week for the last 2 weeks of big new Saturday. So that's gonna do it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully Waffle's fantasy draft goes well, and hopefully your fantasy drafts go well as well if you're doing some of them. And enjoy football this weekend. Thanks, guys. You've been listening to Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. Logos designed by Jen Perry. You can follow Richard on Twitter at Ricardo_knows or on Instagram at RNM1996. Catch up with Waffle at WaffDog on Twitter. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on this Bearded Broadcaster production.